Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Super Old Game Saturday, the retro gaming show I put on every Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to give you classic gaming goodness or aniness as driven by whatever you have to say in the chat in the Twitch window over there where I'm pointing. Anyway, tonight we were going to be going back to Kingdom Hearts, but we finished it last month. So I was like, okay, what are we going to do? So I was thinking through. I have a bunch of games as far as it. I was also getting a sense of, okay, let me do some viewer requests at some point. Tonight I figured, well, alright, this isn't quite a viewer request, but this is me going back on a game that I played when I first started doing this, about a year and a half ago, the summer of 2020. Hello, Dolly Finn. Welcome to the show tonight. Good to see you. I was just going into a little bit of the backstory of the game we're playing, which I already played, but I don't have the recording of it anymore. And it was when I first started doing this just for fun, without really much of a sense of direction of what the program was going to be. And with that, I said, alright, fine, I'm going to get to this game eventually, and since we finished Kingdom Hearts 2 weeks ago, great, you're looking forward to what it is, here's the case. I mean, I haven't necessarily mentioned what game it is, but I said, we'll get to that for sure. We spent that whole game looking for King Mickey, Mickey Mouse. We saw him at the end of the game, very briefly, so I said, alright, for 2 weeks later, since we don't have another part of Kingdom Hearts to it, and eventually we will get to the other ones, eventually. And we'll also get to another game with Mickey Mouse I've been asked for by Edwack, actually, right before I went on tonight. He wants to see Mickey Mousecapades on NES. I think maybe it's a bad joke, but it's like, well, I'm open to it. But yeah, we're going to keep going with Mickey Mouse and Disney tonight. We're playing 1994's Mickey Mania, The Timeless Adventures of Mickey Mouse, but we're playing it on the Sega CD. It was also on the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis, and in Europe, it was out on the PlayStation in 1996 under a completely different name, Mickey's Wild Adventure. And there also was a mobile port of this on Android that I guess you can't buy anymore. I never knew it came out. But yeah, we're playing that game, which was something of an institution in the 16-bit era. If you're playing games in the 16-bit era, and chat, let me know if you ever played this, on any system, regardless of whether it's the CD version, this game got around a lot in the sense of it was published by Sony before they made the PlayStation by about a year, and it was one of the early projects by Traveler's Tales. And we've played games by them before, specifically Sonic 3D Blast. This was their fourth game after, let me see, what do I have on my notes for this one? They made Galahad on the Sega Genesis. That was an early one. I'd never played it. As well as Pugsy, which I'd heard before. And actually, before this, they made the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis version of Bram Stoker's Dracula. And you can kind of see some of those echoes to this game, as we're going to see in a second. But then they made this, and this kind of put them on the map. And actually, it is the first game of Traveler's Tales that I ever played. And also has a couple other claims to fame in the sense that it was a project led by John Burton, who we mentioned before, from Traveler's Tales, who I believe is still with them now in this day. And they have that Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga thing coming out in 2 months. But it was also an early game developed by, or worked on by David Jaffe, who would go on to make Twisted Metal and God of War. At the time, he'd done testing on some games of Sony, specifically Skyblazer on Super Nintendo and Cliffhanger, based on the film, also published by Sony, and I have that latter one on Super Nintendo if you ever want to see it. But this was widely considered one of the best games that Sony ImageSoft, as the publishing name of Sony at this time, was doing. And I'm in the Sega CD menu just for the purpose of this, just to give this little spiel before we start playing, because this is a game I have a lot of memories with, and it's also one I played all 3 versions of the game, so I'm going to be able to go into experiences of all of them, tell you why this is the best one, and also tell you what the worst one is, feasibly. I guess the only ones I don't have experience are the ones that didn't come out here. I found the PlayStation version and that mobile one, which we never got, or I don't even know when it came out. I don't even know if I had an Android phone at the time. But yeah, enough with that. Let's get going. We're running the CD-ROM program. And as usual, Sega CD, we have a little nod with that, with Sonic the Hedgehog taking us in with a little intro. And the Sega. There you go. Yeah, I played this on Genesis first. And then I bought it on Super Nintendo. It was a rental for Genesis first, and then bought the Super Nintendo version. Then years later, I sold it for this version, which is actually really expensive now. It's like $70. Perfect. All right, so fitting, and also that logo I have, that Sega logo for the Super Old Game Saturday show, does have the sprite of Mickey Mouse from this game in it. Yeah, but it is Sony ImageSoft and Disney Software involved, and as mentioned, Traveler's Tales is the publishing with the Ghost from the Lonesome Ghost. So any Disney fans out there who have familiarity with these old Mickey Mouse cartoons, you're going to be in heaven with this.
Mickey Mania, the timeless adventures of me, Mickey Mouse.
There you go, and that is Wayne Allwine, who I mentioned when we played Kingdom Hearts, the late Wayne Allwine. But yeah, he voiced Mickey Mouse since the 1970s before his passing in 2009. And in between that, he also did sound editing on movies. I didn't know that these were, but he did sound editing on Psycho 3, Three Men and a Baby, and Star Trek 5. But for the most part, he was Mickey Mouse, and he voiced Mickey Mouse starting on the new Mickey Mouse Club in 1977, and his last role was technically in 2019, because I think they had archival footage of him that they're using for Disney properties. But, alright, I'm in the options menu, because I just want to get a couple things set up. You have difficulty of easy, normal, and hard. I didn't know what the difference was, and actually the manual doesn't really explain it, but the difference, from what I can tell, is that on easy you get extra continues. You get 3 of them when you get a game over. On normal you get 1. On hard you get 1, and I don't really know what the difference between normal and hard is. You can also set your number of lives or tries, because I mentioned when we did Castle of Illusion a while ago, Disney does not like the idea of necessarily Mickey dying, so it's like, okay, you lose a try, but yeah, this game is not fucking around when it comes to that, because there's definitely gonna be some dark stuff, and it's going into Mickey's past as you're reading the movie script there, which is exclusive animation for the Sega CD edition. And we have your throw button for your marbles and jump on the A and C button. We're gonna run on normal. I'm gonna go to 5 tries. This game can get pretty difficult, so it's gonna be interesting to see how this goes more to the end of the game. But alright, we're gonna look at the help screen here, basically explaining what's going on, which is you pick up marbles, which are on the ground. Your extra health is gonna be the stars you pick up, the extra tries, the Mickey Mouse ears, and you pick up the marbles like a lot of the other Disney games we've had, like Castle of Illusion and things like that. And your hit points, which is Mickey's hand over there. So basically, as the fingers go down, his health goes down. Wiz has the fist like that. If you get hit at that point, you die. Or was a try. Fine. I'm going to be saying dying in this game because there's cases where it's tying back to Mickey Mouse cartoons where they're not playing around with the idea of what's Mickey's mortality like. And I'll be sure to bring those up. And feel free to let me know any memories you have about either Mickey Mania itself, anything Disney, anything, I guess, with Kingdom Hearts or any element of video game stuff with Mickey Mouse or Disney. We'll go into that, as well as any experiences with this game, and if you played on this system. Hi, Lekverse. Good evening to you. We are playing Mickey Mouse's Sega CD game, only one. Mickey Mania. It is ported to the Sega CD, but was also on other systems. Let me know any memories you have on this and any other stuff with Disney, because if you're a Disney fan, there's going to be some nice stuff in this, but it's also going to be kind of difficult in some places. And we have one last thing, which is the restart point. You hit the rocket, you're able to have the checkpoint, although this version does something very interesting that the other ones don't, because as soon as you hit that, you will recover at wherever you stopped at when you die, whereas in the Genesis Super Nintendo versions, you went back to at the beginning of, or either the beginning of the stage you don't hit that, or wherever the rocket was when you did hit it. But here's the deal. We have to rescue Pluto, although we're going to be running in cases where like he's already here. And we have to defeat the biggest, meanest Pete anyone has ever seen as Mickey travels through some of his greatest cartoon adventures of his career. And that was the idea of this game when it came out, because it was this celebration of Mickey Mouse. It was kind of going on the 65th anniversary of the character, or kind of in connection with the character, maybe 66th by the time it came out. But that's the idea. I ran it a few times, but never finished it. Especially when we get to the end of the game, there is going to be is Steamboat Willie in here? Yes. Absolutely, because, you know what, I'll use as an excuse that, if you're wondering what that hitting was, I do own a full in-box copy of this game, which actually runs for pretty expensive now. It's like $80-something on this system. But yeah, they do go into that specifically here, saying, quote, I'm going to read the back of the box. I think this will be a case of this. And it also goes to the idea of marketing of a game back in 1904 this way, which says, Mickey has friends wherever he goes, but not here. No Goofy, no Minnie, and no Mercy. Yeah, they're trying to make Mickey Mouse sound pretty badass, which I guess he kind of is. This is Mickey Mouse like you've never seen him before. Faster, tougher, and smarter than ever. In 26 action-packed levels, one of which is exclusive to this version, Mickey takes on a ton of bosses from 6 of his coolest anime classics, from Steamboat Willie, The Mad Doctor, Moose Hunters, Lonesome Ghost, Mickey and the Beanstalk, Prince the Pauper, and one other one. We'll get into that later. And it's Mickey on his adventure of a lifetime. Mickey Mania, this mouse roars. I figured we should mention that, because I remember we did the Slam City Scottie Pippen case of, saying, 90s is hell marketing on the back of the box. But yeah, we are going to be doing that. The plot of Magical Quest 1, which is Requiem Pluto as well. And yeah, I'm going to be doing Magical Quest at some point. I still need to get the copy of that. And actually, Ed Wack, who I work with, right before on the stream, he said to me, I told him I'm doing this game. He said, can you do Mickey Mousecapades? Which I said, yeah, we can. And I know the story's on that game, but still, we can do it. I definitely need to just get the copies of those games, but since those games, Magical Quest and that one, and all the Magical Quest games, but since this is the one I had, and since we finished Kingdom Hearts early, as I mentioned, this is the Mickey Mouse we're going to be running through right now. And as I said, it's also unique because most people played this on not the Sega CD. Like first you said you rented it, but never finished it. What system did you play it on? Because we also got a version, or there was also a version of it outside of the US that we never got, which was on PlayStation, and they never ported it over here. or released it to the US because of Sony's anti-2D policies. We'll get into that when we play some stuff with that. Probably when we do Mischief Makers. But alright, we got our options there. We got the sound test. If I get a game over because of how hard this gets at the end of the game, and I know what you might be talking about, like, for as far as that, we'll use it. But for the time being, we're going to get started. You get the loading times, which are actually shorter on the Sega CD than they are on the Super Nintendo, shockingly. I will see that when we do Batman Forever, because Batman Forever is it. I want to say I played it on the Genesis, which, if you can't get this on Sega CD, I'd say get it on the Genesis. Because this is the next most complete version that the United States got. Yeah, there is Steamboat Willie, which premiered on November 18th of 1928, so we are in Mickey's first cartoon in the black and white with the whistle on the soundtrack of, like, the Wharf case. And there's an interesting thing to go in the music while I also shoot the wine bottle into the mouth of the goat. Yeah, the goat, they turned the crank of the goat to, get the music coming out. In fact, there is the broken guitar that he ate that made the notes come out. So yeah, the attention to detail on this game was pretty amazing, of, like, really showing off a lot of different things. I'm gonna show it up, like, right here. You're seeing, like, the animation of Mickey swinging his arms. And that was a big deal with this game because this was a case where, well, along with having the voice of Mickey here, and you have more in the Sega CD edition, this was a case where a lot of Disney animators were involved with the creation of this game. They were consulting with Traveler's Tales who developed it to say, we want to get all these animations of Mickey going on here, while also trying to avoid the steam vents because they can't hurt you. Even stuff like looking up and putting my hand up there, going down like that, or even just doing the jump. They clearly, I think Disney was looking at this and they're saying, like, yeah, we really want to showcase the idea of Mickey Mouse in a video game and have that level of animation that would be like something out of a movie, which is not to discount, as was mentioned by chat, the Magical Quest from Capcom, which is great as far as the animation, and we played Cast of Illusion before, and I'm also jumping on the water. The fish will knock you back if you want to show that off, but the idea is here, you have the hook going there to grab the boxes and basically ride you over the side. I think, although I'm not sure, you could feasibly get stuck if you wait for all of the boxes to go. When you get to the other side, the fish will shoot you over there and you can't fall in there and die, at least not yet. Yeah, it's getting you started early, and you're also hearing the wonderful CD audio of this version, which was done by Andy Blythe and Martin Jostra, who did the music for other games of Traveler's Tales, specifically Rascal, Blast Radius, and Toy Story 2. And there's also some unique tracks added specifically to this version that were done by, pretty famous name here, Michael Giacchino, who started doing video game stuff. He did the music for Gargoyles on the Sega Genesis and for this version of this game, as well as Medal of Honor. He did a lot of the Medal of Honor stuff. I was in connection with John Williams with the conducting of that game with the high-quality music there. And then he went on to television, specifically Alias from ABC. And then after that, in movies like The Incredibles and the Speed Racer film, which actually has a really good soundtrack of that for him, and Up, which he won an Oscar for. Yeah, but there you go. Yeah, we have Pete there. He is spewing tobacco. This game is the E-rated game, technically. But yeah, what you do is you go up there, ring the bells like he did. He walks over here across the dock, jump on him 4 times.
Get out of the way, you big bully.
And you have Mickey saying, "Get out of the way, you big bully," which is unique for this version. There's actual voice clips in this that are in the other ones, but there's some that are unique to it. Also, I want to wait, because there's a life up there, so I want to wait till the birdie comes back and also showcase the great animation. Alright, fine, I'm going to wait a little more just because, yeah, I want to make sure I make that jump, because there's a pit down there, and if I fall into that, I'm going to get hurt. And also, the colors. Yeah, it was all black and white, it's turning colors, we go on. Yeah, there are the Mickey Mousers, got it. Alright, that's an extra life. So we're all set. As we're going across the wharf, although the music here, they switched it based upon how it was on the Super Nintendo and the Genesis, but it is CD redos of the music from those versions, and it's great. Alright, now we have the first boss, sort of. It's the mechanical stuff of the warp. What you do is you jump on the one, throw marbles into the one at the top, which takes, I believe, 3 hits to destroy. The other one you just jump on and just avoid the bombs, or just hit on the spring, will launch you up, or just jump on this one, bounce up a bit, and hit it that way. And not too bad. A lot of people say Mickey Mouse is a rip-off of Felix the Cat, but I like to think that Mickey Mouse took a work from Felix the Cat and I guess enhanced it. Well, I'm glad you said that, because I'm a big one on Felix the Cat as well, and there's a game based on Felix the Cat on NES, which is supposed to be really, really good, and made it better. Okay, absolutely. And that's an interesting case, because Felix the Cat started that way as well, at the time, sort of, but also what Mickey Mouse was doing as far as, the presentation as far as that. And also another one, and I'll reference this, I don't know if anybody in the chat knows this, I'm familiar with Bosco, I'll put a picture of him in the YouTube video as we go to the Mad Doctor level. Yeah, definitely one of those messed up Disney cartoons, or Mickey Mouse cartoons as it is. But yeah, I agree in the sense of that, because I like Felix the Cat as far as how it was, but there's something about, I guess this goes to the idea of, like, Mickey Mouse as a character, and Felix the Cat is a funny character. Yeah, definitely so, and I always had a thing as far as Felix the Cat, but also Mickey Mouse. I mean, there is something to be said about the idea of, at the time, let's think about that, because that was 1928 when we had Steamboat Willie. This is 1933 for the Mad Doctor. We're going into this area with the skeletons. When you hit them, the bones come out, and avoiding them is a hard thing, and the knives, yeah. This is a very dark cartoon, by the way, which I guess is the reason why Disney does not want to re-release it or put it on Disney+. Whereas Steamboat Willie, that is up there, but this one is not, and there's a couple of ones that aren't. And I guess also there's the other thing, which is in some ways maybe Mickey was maybe more hard-edged than Felix the Cat, or Bosco as well, which I'm trying to remember the company that released Bosco. That might have been RKO Pictures, although I know a lot of the Disney stuff was released by RKO as well. But yeah, we're going through this, because this goes to the idea of what the Mad Doctor was, which came out in 1933. And if you ever played the Epic Mickey games, that character is in those. And the idea is he originated from this, and Mickey's going into his factory or to his laboratory to find Pluto, who went missing. But the thing is that the Mad Doctor wants to cut Pluto in half with a saw and mix him with a duck. And we'll see a reference to that later on. I'm also grabbing onto the rope, which is definitely different than Castle of Illusion, because in Castle of Illusion, when you're on the rope and you hit into enemies, they'll die. Not in this one. You get hurt. So yeah, be careful and watch out for the embers in the fireplace. Yeah, that is an interesting thing as far as that, and I kind of, in a weird way, I guess maybe have forgotten about Felix the Cat, although I guess that goes to one thing, which is the idea that Felix the Cat was more of a niche thing, Bosco especially. And I guess that idea of, like, alright, there's the perspective of Mickey Mouse who endured, although there's value as far as those other takes of that as well. See, like, what's the take on things like that as one along while you're hitting the bats, and yeah, holding the marbles is an important deal. Indeed, but most ignore the importance of Felix the Cat, because without it, Mickey Mouse wouldn't exist. Yeah, I agree with that, and that's worth pointing out, too. And I'd love to get that Felix the Cat game if I could. It costs quite a bit of money, though, although maybe I can get a reproduction case. It was Hudson Soft who made that. Just so we can go into more aspects of that, because, yeah, I do have memories of Felix the Cat and this. And this is also where I get some dark stuff, and I'm going to try and, okay, not do that. Yeah, you have to jump between the gurneys, and in this cartoon, you had Mickey Mouse strapped down to one of these things, and the saw blades were going to cut him to death. So I was like, yeah, they're getting really dark here. Yeah, you go through this, you jump through to the next gurney, and, yeah, don't hit the floor, you die. I wish that didn't happen, but I'm kind of glad it showed that. But yeah, that is Mickey Mouse dying. So yeah, you have tries in this game, but yeah, he is dying. Let's not lie here. But you're right, I mean, as far as the thing with Felix the Cat, and that is an interesting case. I mean, I even probably remember, I guess the theme song. I'm trying to remember if I, yeah. I'll have to see if I can't get that game, because it is an interesting one. I've heard it's one of these really great underrated cases on NES, and actually, I realized we have not played anything on NES. I never knew that, the idea of Felix the Cat, and, because what year was Felix the Cat, by the way? Let me know if you know off the top of your head, or I'll put an edit in later. Alright, we're on this tower stage. One thing I want to mention, the Super Nintendo version does not have this, for some insane reason. I don't understand why, and it's running on rotational effects of its graphical elements. You think the Genesis couldn't do that, but yeah, it did. It's in the Genesis version, and the CD version has it too. As you're going down, looking at the barrels there, and getting that 3D effect, and that's something that Traveler's Tales did a lot in the 60-bit era with this, especially Toy Story as well, which is the game that they made after this, and actually is the reason why we never got a sequel. If you're wondering, like, why didn't we get a sequel to Mickey Mania? They were planning one, but they were working on Toy Story for Super Nintendo and Genesis. I think it was a PC version of that as well. They were working on that, so they said, oh, we can't make this. So I think Disney then said, you know what, if you're not going to be able to make this, and by that time, David Jaffe, who was involved on co-designing this, went over to Sony for Twisted Metal. I think they figured, well, let's just keep going. Oh, right, yeah, that's the other thing. The skeletons can drop down like that, and based on their animations, because it's great as far as how the animations are, but sometimes you have to pay attention to it, because it means their hitboxes are larger, and you can be blindsided a lot. Yeah, especially there. Jump on the top. Okay, still got hit as far as that. And also get the case of, them exploding wrong, which is the hardest thing to avoid. Alright. We do get this great remix of the music from the Genesis Super Nintendo versions. And the instrument going there, which you didn't get on the cartridge versions, but it sounds great in this one. And really gives you that sense of, Mickey Mouse as an enterprise and the idea of, like, that style of it. And as I mentioned, also, it not necessarily hiding away from the darker elements. And Epic Mickey sort of did that as well, both of those Epic Mickey games, which had the Mad Doctor in it. Although in that case, it was something that it kind of eventually collapsed in on itself, particularly that second one. despite, you know, the effort and the passion that Warren Spector made, that was the guy who made Deus Ex. He started a company, Junction Point Studios, to make that game. He made the first one, which was on Wii, which was actually pretty good, despite some of its problems. And then the sequel kind of came out. It crashed and burned. It sold really badly. On Wii U, it's a disaster area with its frame rate. And, yeah, unfortunately went out as far as that. Which was sad, because I think there was a lot of potential to that. And it goes to that fascination of Mickey Mouse, the character, and doing stuff with him in games, as we saw before this, and also, you know, with this, and then after. Alright, yeah, in the elevator, you gotta be careful where the bones are, and, yeah, avoiding those bones is the hardest part with the skeletons. Yeah, I'm also making it a little faster myself by tossing the marbles in the little, you know, area there, like, right out the elevator, and be careful not to hit them. Alright, this is the end of the line, but we're not quite done. Watch this informative and hilarious element explaining the role of Felix in animation. Great, thank you. Yeah, thank you for sure, Lifers. This is the end of this level. We're not going this way. Go out enough and go back into the elevator. You go up here. And with my health being at nothing, I want to go down this way. Thank you very much for adding to that. And it goes to the idea of, like, as I said, when I came on the show tonight, it's like, I didn't know we were going to be talking Felix the Cat, but I'm glad we are. Because, yeah, there you go. But, alright, yeah, you're in the dark, so it's just like Earthworm Jim. So you basically jump left and right, follow where the stars are, so I get a full health recovery and a life over here. And there is the Mad Dr. Mickey, who has, you know, the fire there, but yeah, he's getting scared off and he's going away. We found Mad Dr. Mickey, but didn't stay for long, which is not quite how the cartoon goes, because as I mentioned, he's strapped down on that gurney, and he's gonna get cut up. Yeah, you have to see that cartoon, because I remember mentioning this to people, that I was gonna play this game or about this, and they said, I never saw the Mad Doctor. I was like, you haven't? I was like, it's one of the, as I mentioned, we did, Castle Illusion, and what you do here, by the way, is you're moving the little vial here. You have to hit onto each of these things to get all the chemicals there and then put on the Bunsen burner to bust the door open. But I mentioned when we played Castle Illusion, the idea of Mickey Mouse as a character is really a character intended for everybody in terms of a lot of different things. Of the idea, you have cartoons that are for families specifically, as far as like, look how cute Mickey Mouse is, you know, going to the beach with Minnie or something like that. Ones are kind of more adventurous, like Lonesome Ghost, which we'll see later. We had Mickey and Goofy and Donald going in to, you know, be Ghostbusters, really. And then you had ones that were dark as hell, like this one, with all these weird things. Like, yeah, there's death here, and you think, like, yeah, that for, Mickey Mouse, but yeah, alright. So what you do is you mix the chemicals in, jump on the button, it goes a little darker, and you get the fire there. And also, if you go and touch the fire, it's not gonna hurt you, thankfully. Yeah, busts, and the door opens. And this is actually where the boss is gonna be. And they added this element a little differently, yeah. When Mickey comes in, he pushes the door, he realizes you outwalk behind him, but here we are. And there is the idea of that. So there is the Mad Doctor looking very much like he did in the cartoon, although the cartoon itself was in black and white because it's 1933, or at least that one was black and white. Each time you hit him, whether it's with the marbles or by bouncing on him, he throws the vials out, so be careful of that. And you hit him 9 times and you win. And in that case, also hit the rocket, so if I die here, I'll just respawn right here. And yeah, there you go. Yeah, he wanted to mix Donald, or not Donald, he wanted to mix Pluto with the duck over there. So I guess it is like Donald Duck meets Pluto and divide him by a saw. So I was like, yeah, this is getting a little, you know, dark that way, and it's very interesting that. But I found the video although the video is kind of trash talks Kingdom Hearts, I found this hilarious. Oh crap. All right, yeah. Sometimes also there's the other thing with this game, so I'm glad I showed that off. The collision detection can be a little wonky, so that's sometimes weird. And he'll also throw the vials out straight to you if that's the case. But you know what, at this point, you know, I think we can just get him. Or, you know what, I'll let him go there so I can at least get the health off of that. Alright. So yeah, I'm at full health, because it does not recover your health in between stages, so yeah, it's something to keep in mind. Alright, so you hit him 9 times, you're done, and you go through the door and talk to, or see Pluto, who he just walks past in the Super Nintendo version. On the Genesis version, Pluto comes back and barks like this, like here, and there's one other thing that they add for this unique version, which is the idea that apparently he hit the vial to himself because, yeah, he's a baby now. But yeah, I get the idea as far as, like, the Kingdom Hearts take. And it's what we mentioned before, the idea of, like, I guess some of these weird elements of Kingdom Hearts, but as I said, when we played that game, I think we really delved into that very deeply to the point where, yeah, you can say all those things about, you know, it getting convoluted and all these things as far as the franchise, but then again, you're thinking, well, it became popular for a reason, and there's a reason why people still love it. Even with that Switch cloud version that came out this past week, results are not good on that. I mean, as I mentioned, I tested it with my internet connection I had before this week, actually. I didn't test it with the faster one I have now. It should be fine as far as the demo, but people aren't even able to launch that thing, so yeah, it's a mess. But yeah, here we are with Moose Hunters. Unlike the cartoon, though, we don't have Goofy and Donald here. But yeah, you're just walking along with with Pluto. Watch out for the falling rocks, and he'll tell you, and also watch out for the branches. Here's the other thing you gotta pay attention to.
Here, boy.
Yeah, as you walk along, he'll do a point in the other direction like that. And you see that jump, because there is the moose. So yeah, it's like, yeah, we really got the moose going on with that. All right. And then what happens is after he sees him the first time, it'll be on a timer as far as when the moose is gonna appear. So feasibly, you know, I'll show this. He'll do the point there, and I'll do that. But as I said, if I'm just standing here, just waiting, I guess looking at my watch, which if you ever played it on Super Nintendo, you realize, oh yeah, the load screen on that is doing that all the time because they compress the data in that. So like, yeah, the load times on that cartridge version are worse than this CD version, shockingly. And actually, this is one of the better loading Sega CD games of the ones I have. Just go into that. Whoa! Yeah, you get this great, you know, farm-like music as we're, you know, going through the countryside. And look at the color as well. That's really, I'll tell you, it really goes to the idea that Traveler's Tales really on their game in the perspective of saying, like, yeah, we want to pay homage to Mickey Mouse as a character and also to all these cartoons we got. Can we agree this is beautiful? Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of people tend to think that. And even more on this system, although it does look a lot like it did on the other ones. And actually, here's the other thing. If you ever saw the PlayStation version of this, where they did 32-bitify the game a bit, it looks even better. But it still looks terrific. And there's also unique animations this one has that are not in the others. And while we're doing the running away from the camera case, and they definitely did this cinematic thing, and actually, going back to Traveler's Tales and John Burton, they did, I know he has his YouTube thing, I think it's Game Hut, I believe it is his YouTube channel. I linked to it when we did Sonic 3D Blast, but I'll link to it again when I put this up in a few days. He basically went into the idea of, how did I make this? Or how did me and the team make this thing? Because it's basically, it's rotating kind of like a, I don't know, like one of those rotating, you know, piano, old-time piano things in like a stand-up piano case. It's just kind of running along it as you're going along. By the way, what you gotta do is you gotta jump over the water, don't hit the rocks, and pick up the apples. Otherwise, he'll get into a case where he'll catch up. Like, I hope maybe I should show that. But there is a unique animation that's unique to this version. Alright, so I'll let that go on. Alright, I might get caught. Yeah, he's gaining on me. Yeah, you only see that in this version. I don't think it's in the other two. I know it's on the Super Nintendo version. Oh, yeah, we're gonna make this just barely. And they do give you that last one to hit the finish line and you were done. You're right as far as, like, the look of this, and that's what got attention with this game, really, I think, to some degree. Which I said, is not to discount the work that Sega and Capcom and other companies did with Mickey Mouse before this, but this was the case where the Disney animators got involved, and they're looking at this and saying, like, we want to celebrate this anniversary of Mickey Mouse and make it really special. They really wanted to, I mean, in a lot of ways, yeah, going to the Kingdom Hearts thing, do what Kingdom Hearts really was doing, which is replicate these classic, you know, elements of the cartoons. And when we get to Kingdom Hearts 2, we will also see Steamboat Willie in that. And they do another case just like this, where it's dead on as far as how it looks, and even the idea of how you have the characters, like, in the black and white take, and it's amazing. But we are in Lonesome Ghost now. Again, no Goofy and Donald on this one, but we are going in the house with this great music, this great kind of Halloween-like music. I'm just going out here just to get a sense of, alright, yeah, the fact that it's kind of turning in on itself, and I want to try and make this jump. It's a hard jump to make. Oh, just missed it. Yeah, if you were perfect with that jump, you can jump over to the other side, and there are lives up there. There's two up there. We only get one going down into the catacombs. And I love the music here in particular, just because of the fact it has this kind of, you know, it sounds like the idea like you're in a ghost house, in a sense. You have like, and you get the sounds like the horns going, and it sounds really good. But yeah, there are the Lonesome Ghosts. With the, you know, the wood, they're gonna smack you with the 2x4, so be careful. But also, when you're going on the steps like that, they collapse. You have to walk along it. Alright, so yeah, there you go. And there's also health over there. I don't necessarily need it now. So, yeah. Also, let me know if you're hearing everything as far as the audio of the game, because I did what I did with, Ocarina of Time last week. I realized okay, yeah, I was looking at my watch, and, you know, I'll get myself hurt. Actually, no, I'll also, let him show the watch anyway, just the purpose of this. I'll show him again, because this is, yeah, his animation. He'll think it's stopped. Well, let me know if you're not hearing the game audio, because I had to put the game audio up a lot higher than I usually do for this game specifically. And I know sometimes I have to do that with the Sega CD, but with this one, it was really weird. I had to do a lot of test cases for the purpose of that. I hear it. Okay, good. I just want to make sure, because, as I said, if I'm going to show off this version of it specifically, I want to have, you know, that music going. And especially, as I said, it's by a composer, or involved with a composer who won an Oscar years after this, 15 years after this, actually. with Up, the Disney animated film, or the Pixar film specifically, which is a wonderful movie if you've never seen that. Whoa! And he also did the music for The Incredibles, also a very jazzy take as well, so in some ways you can kind of get the echo of a lot of the stuff that Giacchino would be doing on top of, as I said, the people at Traveler's Tales who were involved in this and adapted the music from the cartridge version specifically. Alright. There's a life over there. I do want to try and get it. And you do get this vignette effect as well, which is on the other versions, but alright, let me, Got it. Alright, so there we go, because I want to have as many lives as I can get, especially as we go along later. Because as you mentioned, like, versus games get very hard. But it's one of those cases, oh, and also you do not have full damage, so it's worth pointing that out as well. Yeah, especially the jazzy thing, which, actually, this does sound like something out of The Incredibles when I really think about it. So, there you go. And also, I guess, goes to one other thing, and I guess we haven't... Okay, I've sort of mentioned this. Okay, fine, I keep thinking there's the platform there, but there isn't. Whoa! Also, the hitbox in him is weird to that, but it goes back to, I think, something we've sometimes mentioned. We've done games on Sega CD, especially when they're on other systems, which is what really, going back to that era, was happening when it came to, you know, a game like this, which was on Genesis and Super Nintendo, and then what happens when they put it to the Sega CD, which is usually add an extra level, add Red Book audio, specifically, as far as, like, CD stuff. And sometimes you have some games that do it better than others, I would admit, specifically. I mean, we also did that with Pitfall, the Mine Adventure last year. We used the Sega CD version for that one. That was definitely a good play, and also a good case of showing what that game was doing against it on the 16-bit systems in the case of that one, and also with this one. We also have some cases where it doesn't necessarily sound that much better, like Demolition Man, which I do want to play at some point just because the sound on it is cleaner, but it mostly sounds like the Genesis game, so I don't really see much of a difference. So sometimes you have cases on the CD where it's different that way, or the Sega CD anyway. I guess also other stuff that costs a fortune, like Earthworm Jim, where it's like, yeah, we're gonna be playing Genesis because that's like a $400 game. But it sounds great as far as what they did for saying, okay, we got the CD to store stuff, let's use it. And they definitely use it in this stage because we are going to the flooded basement. Oh, there's Pluto. Run ahead. Alright, we have the water. The water can hurt you. You're on those barrels there, you can kind of run along, but don't let them hit the ground. Or don't hit the motorboat as well. That's the other thing. You motorboating son of a bitch. You go to any fans of Wedding Crashers out there. Alright, yeah, that's what can happen. And that was me dying. I originally bought a Hat in Time for PlayStation 4. Oh, yeah, I know you mentioned that you played it on the PC, but it also is one of those cases that feasibly, you know, play it on the console that way. I've always meant to get that game. It is, you know, I remember when it came out, people were really excited about it because it was kind of playing the take of, I guess, like, N64 platformers. Yeah, I'm glad you flowed, indeed. Yeah, you do get Mickey saying a lot of different things for this case. But yeah, are you enjoying it, I guess, more than you did on the PC? I remember when we did Super Mario RPG, we went back to that, I went back to the footage on that at one point when I was doing the edit. I know you're mentioning that, oh yeah, your save data got wiped out. Which, just to go back to that, because I never actually followed up when it came to that Super Mario RPG thing, where it's like, after years, the save went away, and then I could save again for some reason. I never saw that again, or found any information about that. By the way, go into the hallway enough, get this going, and the water goes away. Oh, and yeah, you also get that motif. You get the toccata and fugue in D minor from Johann Sebastian Bach mixed into this, and I love that. The idea of the and it goes diddly. It sounds terrific. But now we have the walking ghosts, and this is where things are gonna get a little harder. Definitely a Castlevania vibe as go. I haven't started playing it yet. Well, fair enough. I mean, I guess because it's also I run on this case a lot. I'll buy games like I'll barely play them because like I don't have a whole lot of time to play in some cases, or just, you know, how am I gonna handle that? But also in your case, you said you played on the PC, so it's like, all right, you have a baseline that way. So at that point, it becomes more of a question of, I guess what that difference really is, and I guess how the PS4 would run it. Which, from what I understand, I think it's mostly the same as far as against it on the other systems it's on, which I believe it's PC, it's PS4, it's Xbox One, and I think Switch got it. And I heard the Switch version also was a pretty good version. Alright, this is the other thing you gotta do with the ghosts, is you have to push the table over here so you can climb up the stairs, otherwise you can't make that jump enough, but you also have to be careful when they do the animation for the hat to jump over it. Right, there we go, got him. And there is some health. Yeah, I do want that. Actually, I'm realizing, yeah, we are kind of getting through this game quick, but, yeah, wait till the last world. This is, I guess, a short game that way, but, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, definitely enjoying this and the music, and I guess the fact the music stopped and it's reloading it, because as mentioned, Red Book audio. That's what, Sega CD did a lot, and the idea is that, okay, it would then stop the music, then reload it, but also, On this system, it also means that if you put the CD into your PC or your music device case, you can basically rip the tracks, except track 1, which is always data, and then basically listen to the music. So there you go. You have it all set for anything on your Sega CD system. But later that was changed, particularly later stuff on PlayStation. But I know some games that had a lot of fun with it, including Castlevania Symphony of the Night, where they said, this is a PlayStation game console disc, you shouldn't be playing this in anything else. But you're not going to listen now, are you? And they give you a specific piece of music that's unique for that. Alright, so we got out with Lonesome Ghost Mickey literally running into the wall. I guess we could assume for the sake of argument that Donald and Goofy died because they're not here. But as we mentioned, the idea is we have to save Pluto, we have to go and fight Pete specifically, so... Which is interesting, I guess, because there's only 2 cartoons involved in this where Pete had anything to do with it. And this is not one of them. Yeah, we are going to be going into Mickey and the Beanstalk. There is something different on the PlayStation version of this, Mickey's Wild Adventure, that never came out in the US. There's an extra level that this is unique to that version. Oh, we never got it. But alright, we are in the forest with the wonderful, wonderful music here. It's a great remix of a track from the 16-bit version. The doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. It sounds wonderful with the horns and the strings and all that in this version. This is beautiful. I remember when I heard it. It's one of those cases where they took the music from the other version and then really enhanced it so brilliantly. Which I guess is one way to do it, because also they could also go another direction, have unique music, which was the case when, thinking off the top of my head of other Sega CD translations, Echo the Dolphin. That's on Sega Genesis, but it also is on Sega CD, and they went a completely different direction with the music. In fact, it was Spencer Nilsson who did the music for the US version of Sonic CD who did the music for that one as well as Tides of, the sequel, Echo Tides of Time. Or the Tides of Time, that's it. I'm thinking Time and Tide, which is something totally different, a movie from Hong Kong from 2001, or something else. Alright, so yeah, you go over the lake, and be careful of the, I guess the dragonflies, which you can't kill, by the way, and be careful of the leaves because they sink. Alright, that was close. As we're seeing the nice beanstalk case there. And there's another Mickey Mouse game we can play that has that element, which is, I don't know if, chat, you played this, Mickey's Ultimate Challenge, which was on Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo. I think Game Boy and Game Gear got it as well. We had to rerun the Genesis version, which is the one I got. With that, we're going in the cave with the bugs, which are also, or the beetles as they are also invincible. And also the other thing, as far as the marbles, they kind of go in an arc when you throw them, so be careful of that. But in here we got the baby spiders and the attention to detail of them having little diapers on, so yeah, be careful of them. And there's this great, atmospheric music for this, which is unique to this version as well. So I guess Michael Giacchino worked on the tracks in this game that are unique to this. Whereas I guess the other ones, it was everybody was involved with Traveler's Tales for the 16-bit editions. Alright, so what we gotta do is we gotta go down there, but what we gotta do is we gotta climb up here. And I also don't want to die, because if you do die, those marbles go away. But there is one thing I need to do when we go to the next stage, or try to anyway. But now the babies are coming down with the parachute diaper case. Alright. Which, again, as I mentioned, goes into the idea of just what love and passion was really put into this, as far as the animation and also everything else about it. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you also have Mickey. Actually, I guess I'll show this, the idea. You have the animation that's kind of sliding down the hill. But if you also run down the hill, it'll go like that, or it'll just do that split thing as it goes down. Alright, we have to go in here, but... Wonder who's in here. Yeah, Spider, don't touch that. It's an instant kill. So what you gotta do is you have to walk over here, jump on the ladybug. And there are items there you can't get, so I don't know why to put them down there. So, because you can't outrun the ladybug, or the spider. She'll always catch up, and as soon as she touches you, or you touch her, you're dead. Alright. Now, what we're gonna do here is... I want to do something very specific. I'm gonna leave those butterflies alive for the time being, or get hit by them barely. Alright, there is Pluto, scratch himself. I'm gonna go past this because I want to have some health for... Oh, shit, Okay, fine, you know what? Kill this one. Well, can I kill him? I'm trying to think, because there's a specific level that's over there that is not in the Super Nintendo version. They cut it out for some reason, but every other version has it. And I think you have to get through this part without dying. So what I'm going to do is... We can also kill these beetles when they start flying like that. These are the only ones you can, but yeah, wait for them to fly. Okay. Yeah, because if I take another hit, I'm going to die. I just want to not have that happen. Alright, start flying, my friend. There, he's dead. Alright, now... There is health right there. I do want to get that. But yeah, I'll just be very, very careful. Yeah, because what you're supposed to do is you have to climb up here, and we will do that. But, you know, when I kill the butterflies, you know the butterflies are gonna be so deadly. Oh, crap. No, 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 no. Yeah, and I'm doing this only for the fact that I want to get the health that's over there. At least one of them. Alright, fine. I guess I can't, you know... Okay, here's the thing. If I can't get this, there is a stage select code out. Oh, shit. Alright, I guess we're gonna have to use the stage select code. Alright. Let me explain what I failed to do. Over there were a bunch of butterflies, and there's a platform over there. If you bounce up on top of them, there is a specific arrow, and you have to do it on your first life. If you die, you can't get it. And you go into a game, or a mini-game, that's based on the band concert. So yeah, that's the 7th cartoon that's themed after this. And for some reason, the Super Nintendo doesn't have it. Because there's a lot of stuff they cut out of that Super Nintendo version. And if I don't want to die anyway, just for the purpose of this. Ugh. We also at least get to hear the great music, especially the harp coming on. Alright.
Higher.
Alright, higher we go, but let me see if I can't make the jump off here. Yeah, because, okay, I'm safe now. Yeah, sliding on the soap. Yeah, that's true, and I'm trying to think, because, yeah, there were other Mickey Mouse games that were kind of doing that. I think, okay, fine, alright, fine, I tried to go about that. Yeah, I guess it is soapy, but I guess it's supposed to be a beanstalk. It's like, there are a lot of beanstalks in Mickey and Beanstalk, interestingly enough, but alright, fine. I'll put the code in later for the purpose of showing off what the band concert is. I was gonna try and get to it. I tried on the test playthrough. Alright, fine, I'm dead. At this point, it's okay. But that being said, I do want as many of these lives as I can going into the next world, which is the last one. So yeah, seems like a short game, but I hold that thought. When we get there, oh crap. That's the other thing about this game, I will say, is that I like this game, but there's also stuff about it that's very weird as far as like, yeah, you gotta be careful, and if you're not, you can get yourself killed really quickly. Oh, from Ed, Edd and Eddy. Oh, okay, yeah, see, I've seen it a little, but not massively, and I guess one thing also is there are games based on that, and when we play Midway Treasures 3, we get to that one, there is a trailer for the Ed, Edd and Eddy game they made, so, you know, maybe we should cover that as well, because as I said, I've gotten a lot of viewer requests for stuff, so, at some point, maybe we should play to that and maybe familiarize myself a little more, because I saw it at the time, but I think it was, like, right before my time. Well, there's a link to that, so, okay, great. So we'll have the slide on the soap, as well as, I guess, here, we'll go on another thing, because here's some Jell-O. This is the reference. Well, thank you, I appreciate that. Like, helping me understand that, because I make these out of nowhere things. Well, fine, mine's more out of nowhere than yours. Yours makes more sense. There are people gonna say, oh my god, this is great, and I will put a link to that in YouTube video. But yeah, you bounce on the Jell-O here and come up here, or go to another reference to this case, the Fairly Odd Parents, it's gelatin brand gelatin. And I put broccoli in the center of it so that's healthy. And look, no matter how much it jiggles, the broccoli stays safely in place. Alright, but yeah, I'm just barely avoiding the grapefruit. Yeah, the kicking of the bugs there. Yeah, because we are on the table of Willy the Giant, and there is my Mickey and the Beanstalk counterpart. And shoot him off with the champagne bottle. Now, on the PlayStation, there is another level after this. You actually do see Willy the Giant. You have to run away from him. It's kind of like the moose thing, although actually in the PlayStation version they redid the look of it, so you're kind of going along a curved path, and they use that "he's gaining on me" animation much more in that version. So technically that is the most complete one, but we never got it. And the only other release of that was on the PS3 for Europe, but it's been since delisted. It was a downloadable case. And as I said, they also changed the name, so that was the more confusing case. But yeah, we're at the last world of the game, but don't think that this means we're going to be done that quickly. Yeah, this is The Prince and the Pauper from 1990, and I guess it goes in the other aspect, which is, interesting enough, of the levels we've gone through, only Steamboat Willie and the band concert are ones that... Okay, boy, we haven't done band concert yet. Steamboat Willie and Lonesome Ghost are the only levels, or cartoons of this, that are easily accessible, specifically on Disney+. Alright, there is the vanishing staircase. Also, careful, you can see that little arrow there on the right. I don't know if you can barely see that. That is a weasel. He has a crossbow, and he'll kill me if I don't do something about it. Or, can I hit him from here? Okay, yeah, I can kill him off screen. Alright, yeah, you heard that animation. Yeah, he's dead. Alright. He takes 3 marble hits, although at the last hit, you can also jump on him. Which is different than how it was on the Genesis and the Super Nintendo, weirdly enough. I do remember you could just jump on him if you want in those versions. For this one, no. You have to hit him with the marbles or Fine, hit him at least twice with the marbles and kill him with either a marble or a jump. But alright, we're in the castle, the snowy castle outside there, as we have to push the crate over here to jump on the chandeliers to get over on the stairs. And like you're mentioning, you're saying you never beat this game. This world is probably the reason why. And I'll say this also to tell the story, because I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I played this game very early for the show in 2020. Well, first I tried to play it, and the game didn't load, although in this case, it loaded fine. And I played it for real, and when I got to this part, I did get a game over, and I did use the code to get back here. We might end up doing that, but we'll see how that goes.
Some library, huh?
Yeah, it is a nice library for sure. We also have the Weasels who do that throw there, and you have the great animation of them. You sometimes have to be careful about that because they will go back into their animation specifically in terms of that. Also, I do want to go over there and get the health. Ooh. Yeah, at this point, you want to get all the health you can and get all the marbles you can. Oh, shit. And, yeah, get blindsided off-screen by the Weasel. But it does look great when he's reaching into his quiver to get the arrow out. But, yeah, they need to die. Yeah, because the Weasels are giving you trouble, just like the cartoon this is based on, which... Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know if I've actually seen the Prince of the Pauper cartoon that this is based on, weirdly enough. I've seen, I think, all the other ones, but not that one. Oh, yeah, okay. I just missed. He just jumped out of the way. So, like, yeah, the Weasels are crafty, too. Okay, here's the other thing. Yeah, I'm hitting his feet. You're seeing that, right? I just threw right into his foot, and it's missing him. So what I gotta do is I have to wait here and... Oh, no, fine. I'll kill him off screen. Alright, fine. That's the other tactic you can use. You can basically just kill him off screen that way. Alright, for here you gotta jump onto the elements of the books and get the other ones on the other side. Which I guess goes to the perspective, like, the library take, which... Actually, now I'm thinking about it, pretty much every Mickey Mouse game I can think of has a library in it to some degree. Whether it's Castle of Illusion, World of Illusion, Epic Mickey The Power of Illusion for 3DS, which I hope I can get that 3DS stream thing figured. I still have not been able to be able to show that. And then also, Mickey's Ultimate Challenge has a library in as well. And I don't know, maybe Mickey Mousecapades. Actually, the only one I think that doesn't actually, I guess, is Magical Quest. I don't think that has one. Oh shit, no! Okay, that was close. But there is health on the stair down, so in that case, there we go. And there is King Pete, which I want to... Yeah. Yeah, I'm saying uh-oh a lot, but yeah, there you go. You know what? There's another one down there, but... Alright, yeah, because sometimes you have to... You have to be careful in terms of how you're jumping, because you're going down. Yeah, sometimes he won't necessarily jump correctly to that. Okay, okay, it looked like I almost got it, but I was like, alright, fine, I missed. Alright, in this case, yeah, just kill him. And also be careful with the pots, they can fall down.
Sorry.
But it does look nice as far as that 3D effect. Kind of like what they would do with Toy Story, or Traveler's Tales would do with Toy Story. Oh, shit! Okay, what hit me? The pot just barely. Alright, yeah, I just but as I mentioned, at least let's show this off. In the Sega CD version, for some reason, maybe the extra memory of the system, when you die, you don't go back to where the rocket is. You go back to pretty much where you died, unless it's over a pit. In which case, then they'll move you to right before the pit. So it actually is a little easier that way, but because of the fact that the Weasels are gunning for me quite literally here, that's where things are gonna get tough. Oh, eat. Also the other guys, those Weasels with the knife. That knife will reflect off of the wall, and also I'm out of marbles. Shit. All right. So I can't hurt them. So I just avoid them. As I mentioned, the hit detection can be a little weird. Yeah, the animations are great, but sometimes that means that the hit detection's kind of wonky. But all right, okay, we found Pauper Mickey. But we gotta find Prince Mickey. He's in the dungeon. All right, may as well let that whole music case play. All right, so let's keep going. Yeah, as I mentioned, this is not a long game when you know what to do, but the end of it gets insanely tough. Oh, right. Okay, I was thinking ahead. There's another level I'm thinking we're coming in next. But yeah, we're in the kitchen and we need to open the door that's in the front, but I don't have any ammo to help with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and get some. I think there's marbles over here. And there's the Weasel who hasn't pulled the knife out. He's just kind of... Oh, uh-oh. Okay, I just got touched by the lava somehow. I want to go back to that. Okay, fine, die. That'll also work. Yeah, this is why this area gets hard. Some of those little elements that... Oh, okay, actually, it's better I died, because when you die, you do get a recovery of your marbles. Alright, there we go. The other case is also, when you get hit, you don't have a whole lot of recovery time, so it's easy to die or lose a lot of hits quickly. Alright, because I do want to go up here, because, yeah, you have to switch this, and then it opens the shaft over there. But what I also want to do is there's health, and I think a life. So what I want to do is jump onto the platform over here. There he is. Can I hit him from here? Yes, I can. I do love that attention, though. It's like, yeah, when you hit him, you know, you see his, you know, heart-shaped underwear that way. Alright, that's good. Yeah, you just push that forward a little bit, and it gets a bit closer. Alright. Yeah, we'll have enough. Alright, so there's health, and you can also jump onto the areas with the ham hocks over there. And there's health, and... No, that's it. Okay, I thought there was a life for some reason. Oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, screw you, we're going into the shaft. Or basically, I guess, going down the dumbwaiter. Okay, now this is where I was thinking of, the dungeon.
Looks like Goofy's bad toy.
Alright, so, according to Mickey, then, yeah, Goofy's fine. I said, for the sake of argument, Goofy died or something. No, he got out. He was like, yeah, this is a bad toy. Unless, I guess we really want to be dark here, we can get a sense of, you know, Mickey is saying all this and just remembering, like, yeah, all his friends who are, no longer with him, or not with him right here, anyway. I mean, we have Pluto, at least. But, yeah. Yeah, we also have, yeah, that, right there. That's where they can knock that into the wall. And, yeah, a lot of cases you'll walk on screen and they'll just be there. They'll throw the knife. So, yeah, this game is not gonna be nice to you anymore. We got this far, so I was like, yeah, you better show your, skills. Otherwise, you're gonna die. Although the other thing I guess you could do is just, crouch underneath, or crouch when he throws the knife, because I think... Okay, it looked like he didn't even have the knife in his hand there, but alright, and he's not gonna come over here, which is fine. They won't move, or at least that won't move. Alright, here we go. Yeah, this is this area where you have to jump over this and not hit the spike ball. Yeah, but that one's trying to pot shot me, so I gotta be careful. And jump out of the way of that. Again, love the music for sure as far as how they do this. Alright, there we go. Yeah, just throw that at him quick. Alright, fine. I hit him twice. Yeah, jump on him. There we go. Yeah, the third hit will kill him, and I thought the Genesis and Super Nintendo versions let you just jump on them. I mean, I was even checking earlier just to get a sense of that, and saying, like, wait a minute, maybe the easy difficulty changes that, but no, it doesn't. It's the same. The only difference really is the number of continues you get. And even as far as, like, hard and normal, you only get one continue anyway, so it's not really any different that I can tell, unless any, Mickey Mania people out there who know what the difference really is between hard and normal. Alright, there we go, got him. In this case, just pick up every marble you can and try not to die, but I've not been doing a good job of that. Yeah, you know what? Fine, we can afford that, so we get 2 more. Ooh. Yeah, at this point, it is going that seriousness of, yeah, you know, Mickey is, you know, I guess, potentially going to be killed by the Weasels here. So yeah, as I said, they call them tries as far as lives. You know what? They may as well just say, like, let's drop the pretext. Mickey's going to die if he falls in the lava. Let's just say it. Oh, no. Alright, the other thing I guess I'm doing that also probably isn't a good idea is... Oh! Okay, that was close. Oh. That wasn't. The thing I was doing that probably isn't a good idea is kill everything, which sometimes is a good idea. Alright, yeah, this is also crush walls, so get moving. Yeah, and that was the hardest part there, but yeah, I got through enough. And I have enough marbles, which there is one area you cannot avoid a hit if you don't have enough. So yeah, just let them go. Yeah, be careful not to get hit by the knife. I've had that happen too. We'll just bounce off the wall there and, like, put back into me. Alright, fine, they're dead. Yeah, I'm getting a little nervous of this. Oh, yeah, and if you ever want to know, like, if you were not sure about if this is by the people who made Bram Stoker's Dracula for Super Nintendo and Genesis, yeah, this is the indication of that. Not bad for David Jaffe's first project, or one of his first projects, because you're right about this. This was the first game that he designed, or he was involved with designing. He co-designed this. But he also worked as a tester on other games of Sony ImageSoft, specifically Skyblazer and Cliffhanger, which did come out before this. But you're right as far as that, and it would hint to, I guess, maybe some of the influences that he had on other games, specifically Twisted Metal and God of War, and also, I don't know if you ever played this, Kinetica, which is on PlayStation 2. I believe it's like a racing game where you're playing as this, I guess, this robotic woman who could turn into like a bike or something. It's a game I remember hearing weird things about on that, and also I'm waiting here because I want to wait to that so I can just walk through and not get hurt. Now, like Bram Stoker's Dracula, the area in that, where there's no pattern of that, at least there is here, but, alright, yeah, here, if you don't have marbles, you're gonna die. So yeah, just do this and toss them out there. But it is good as far as that, and you do get the sense of, like, what was David Jaffe's case. Also, yeah, there's the dark case. Yeah, there's a dead Mickey Mouse apparently down here. So, there you go. Push the boulder onto the button, and it puts there, and then you have to jump on that. But be careful of those spikes on the side. And also, these will break, but if you are not able to make it there, which I did on the first try, thankfully, you can fall down and they'll come back. Alright, so there's Prince Mickey, and we're all set. So, yeah, I guess that also goes to one other thing, which is, yeah, here is Mickey Mouse, you know, looking at himself. Would you get the sense of, like, the time paradox case where we're seeing all these Mickeys and, you know, he's imploding, but apparently not. Alright. So touch him and we'll go to the next area. Going to Pete's Tower. There's another one of those rotating tower levels like we had before. Weirdly enough, even though the Super Nintendo version didn't have the one we had in the Mad Doctor level, it has this one for some reason, so why the Super Nintendo version didn't have it, I don't know. Or I think as the Console Wars program said, I don't know what happened with the Super Nintendo version, it seems like they did everything wrong. And it's weird, like, because there's a lot of stuff cut out, the frame rate is... Okay, the frame rate's okay, but I mean, the screen resolution is off in terms of not being able to see much. I don't even think necessarily it sounds that great. I mean, it's that Super Nintendo sound. Alright, fine, I'm dead. Alright, fall in the lava, or, yeah, fall in the lava, but there you go. Yeah, I see, that's, I guess, what I get for bad mouthing the Super Nintendo version, which is okay. Look, if you only have Super Nintendo and have nothing to play it on, it'll do. It's just that when you realize that there's 2 extra levels in the Genesis version, that there's stuff as far as, like, even voice samples. There's more voice samples in the Genesis game. You're thinking, like, wait a second, that should be reversed. Shit! Okay, yeah, that's the other thing. You're going up there, you gotta be careful of the spike balls. And also the collapsing platforms. You get this great piece of music. Oh! Alright, yeah, that is kind of the hardest part. I realized that when I was doing the test playthrough earlier. Okay, yeah, there we go. So, yeah, we are up here, but yeah, I'm a little nervous because we're coming up to one other area that is very, tough. Yeah, this one. Yeah, there are the Weasels. They do die in one hit when you toss the marble at them, but it's going up, and if you get hurt, if you go too slow, you're gonna fall in the lava and die like that. So, yeah, there you go. Also, I think we're not gonna be able to avoid this, but if I get a game over, we do have to start the entire, Prince the Pauper section over again. As I said, if we get in trouble where I get a game over, I'm gonna use the stage select code. I don't care. Evidently, I did it the first time I played this, so I was like, alright, fine, I'm gonna do it. This game gets insanely tough, especially now where, yeah, the margin of error is pretty much nil. Oh, shit. Yeah, it looked like I didn't even hit him. I was like, but yeah, I did. Especially here, you have to make that jump very specifically. Okay, yeah, we just made it. Alright. And they do give you a lot of health there, so yeah, it is fair as far as the health pickups. It's just that, yeah, gotta be careful. Yeah, I need lives. Yeah, I want to keep them as far away as I can. Yeah, that's not gonna matter because if I get hit again, I'm dead. Alright, but you can also jump on these. And he's getting to his inner Tarzan, which is unique to this version, as far as that yell he has. Yeah, here's the other thing. Why is he saying Weasels again? We've seen them the entire level. Is he really that surprised? I don't know, maybe there's still so many. You know what? I'm just gonna wait. Sometimes that's the other thing, and there's the next level specifically I'm gonna do that with. Oh, shit. Okay, I can't now. Also, the other thing is that when he's doing the hit animation, I can basically throw right through him. Or, fine, I hit him twice, so I should just be able to jump on him. Oh, alright, that was close. Oh, alright, that was... Oh, it looked like... Okay, yeah, the knife went out of his hand. Okay, so we're seeing a lot of weird, I guess you're seeing the seams of the animation, if you're really gonna put it that way. But thankfully, he's just shooting against that barrel, so I'm safe. Thank God. I need health. And yeah, I can make that jump, it just looked like I couldn't. Oh. Yeah, I'm going up the high path, or try to. Okay, yeah. Yeah, this is where things are getting, hard, so as I mentioned. Like, yeah, I'll say this. Don't feel shame of saying, like, I've never beaten this game. This game is insanely hard, especially later. Well, fine, it's hard, but I guess it's also maybe just the idea that they keep giving you a lot of things, and if you make a mistake, it's one of those games that, you probably tell me this if you played games like this, I'm gonna assume yes, where if you make a mistake, the game will let you know you made that mistake. And yeah, I might end up having to make that. Alright. Yeah, I'm just bouncing on him. I don't want to touch the ground. Except, yeah, I'm gonna have to. No. I don't think I can make it over there. Alright. Okay. It looked like the knife went through me. Wait, it did go through me. Alright, fine. It didn't now. But, yeah, it looked like the knife went through me, and that was the case. Alright, I got a game over. So yeah, this is how the game is going through. The dungeon looks like it gives Bowser a run for his money. Yes, it does.
Thanks for not quitting.
Yeah, we're not quitting. And hey, otherwise, like, we would have finished this game probably in an hour. You're right, I will say this, actually. This is probably harder than a lot of the, Bowser, boss areas. But yeah, unfortunately, because I got a game over, we do have to start the entirety of, the Prince of the Pauper all over again. So, yeah. I could say sorry about that, but then again, I'm saying, we're just barely an hour over on this game, so it's like, yeah, I'm giving you more money, or more for your money, I guess, or not money. I keep saying that, like, you're not paying the show, and you're never gonna pay for the show. This is a free show. There's a community show this way, but, alright, let's try this again. Also, if I get a game over here, though, well, fine, if I lose all my lives here, it's game over, so I'm gonna have to use the code for that, and I'll show you how that works. And I'll also show you the band concert thing, which I kinda wish I could have done, because if I had... Alright, yeah. It's just the same thing. Yeah, if I had done that, you do get a free continue off of beating that stage. But I'll show you later. Also, by the way, the chest will not reach. So yeah, well, we're making the trek back, and unfortunately it's going to be a bit of a trek that way. Chat, let me know anything else you got on your mind as far as Mickey Mania, Mickey Mouse, anything else. This is funny because another streamer I watch is live doing Super Mario World. Yeah, which, honestly, I'd say of the hard parts of Super Mario World, interesting enough, the Bowser sections are not amongst them. Which, actually, well, fine, the Secret World areas are amongst those as well. And at some point, we should definitely do Super Mario World, and when I do it, I do have a unique version we're gonna use. I have a copy of it that is actually an all-in-one cartridge with, Super Mario All-Stars, which has some changes to Super Mario World, very slight, that I want to show off, and actually... One of those has to do with the two-player, because they changed Luigi's sprite for that. But yeah, that is interesting to get a sense of, I guess, them looking sort of at Super Mario World when you get a sense of it, as far as the idea of, you know, Mickey Mouse as the platform character case. I guess that was also the case with Sega, as we mentioned when we did Castle of Illusion, which was, yeah, before Sonic the Hedgehog, Mickey Mouse was kind of competing against Mario. I guess it also goes to the other case, which is actually at a period there, Mario was more well-known than Mickey Mouse was, to some degree. I'm trying to remember what the criteria that was, and why the hell is that going through him? You saw that. Alright, fine, he's dead now.
Uh-oh.
That said, fuck Tubular. Oh, from Super Mario World? Yeah. Yeah, in case you're not familiar with what Tubular is, it's the second level of, the Secret World in that game. What you have to do is, it's over a massive bottomless pit, you have to get the power balloon, or, quote the cartoon of Super Mario World, good thing I found a magic balloon. And then you have to be, you know, inflated and get through that without dying, and you also have to know where's the next one so you don't fall into the pit and die. So yeah, Tubular is insanely hard, although there is one I think is maybe even harder than that, and that would be, Outrageous, which is the one when you're in the, forest area and you have, like, the fire, I guess, what are the fire, rope thingies?
Sorry.
Fine, it's really hard. Fine, that one's easier if you have Yoshi, but, I mean, Yoshi won't be helping you in Tubular, so in that case, I get that. But in the case of the other ones, like, yeah, if you're Small Mario going into Outrageous, yeah, good luck. Or I think as Electronic Gaming Monthly said when they reviewed the Game Boy Advance version of that game, they said, if you can beat that game as Small Mario alone, or when starting from that, we give you permission to eat an entire box of Girl Scout Thin Mint cookies. You've earned it. So I'm like, yeah, there you go. But yeah, that, actually, you know, honestly, that is where that game gets really, really tough. At some point, as I said, we should do that, and we should probably do more stuff for Mario. Let's say that, because, as I said, aside from Super Mario RPG and Super Mario Brothers 35, oh, I'm out of marbles, but aside from those, yeah, we haven't touched that much. Honestly, I'll say this, one other thing about that, is that there were a couple things of Mario I want to do. Actually, I did Super Mario Brothers 2, the US version specifically. I don't have the recording of it anymore, but I will do that again. I do want to do the Lost Levels, and the way, when I do Lost Levels, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use the Switch Online for that. I'm going to beat it 7 times off screen, so that then we can have the A through D worlds as well for that. And also, with Super Mario Bros. 3, as I mentioned, in 2 weeks, Nocturne's going to be back on the show for the rest of Mega Man Legends, or at least the next part. She's a big one on Super Mario Bros. 3, and I kind of wanted to hold that game off for her specifically, so whenever we do that one, that's going to be her jurisdiction, because as I mentioned, when we did Part 1 of Mega Man Legends, that was initially the plan, but as I said, because things came up, we weren't able to do that, but we will do that. Oh my god, the Lost Levels. Yeah, and Famicom Lost Levels. You think like, well, what about... It's hard on anything, whether you do the Super Mario All-Stars take of that, but yeah, play it on the Famicom. Yeah, it's even worse. And as I said, you have to beat the game 8 times in order to unlock worlds A through D. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the save state on that Switch version for the purpose of that. Which I guess, let's go into that as well, sort of, because we've mentioned the stuff with the Nintendo Switch Online services. They did add something new for NES and Super Nintendo this week. They added Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings. And a lot of my coworkers were really ecstatic about that, saying like, oh my god, they add something new for this, on top of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, which they're adding at the end of the month for the Nintendo 64 side. But yeah, that came out as well. I guess that's another case of a lot of the stuff that came out of that Nintendo Direct that came out this week, of which I probably should have taken a list of what they went through, but I know of some of the highlights I remember seeing in that. They're bringing out Klonoa again. Klonoa, Door to Phantom Isle, and Klonoa 2, Lunate's Veil, which is the one on the PS2. Although for Klonoa 1, it is based on the Wii remake that came out. So yeah, that's going to be a day one for me when that comes out. There's also the remaster of Chrono Cross going into stuff of Square, which is going to be a weird case for sure. To quote Johnny, it feels like a ROM hack that hurts my hands and it's just wrong. Yeah, absolutely. For Mario Lost Levels, yeah. And remember, that game initially was not released to the US because Nintendo said, oh, it's gonna be too hard for us. When we had Contra, although that was Konami, not Nintendo. But, although I guess Nintendo could have said no Contra because it's so insanely difficult. But yeah, you're right. I mean, that game is nuts. But, I said, it is worth showing at least. I mean, I guess it puts in perspective this game because it said, hey, we're playing this game, which is hard, for sure. But yeah, it could be worse. It could be that. It could be... Well, as I said, we're doing Batman Forever in 2 months, although, okay, that's hard for different reasons than, I guess, something like Mario Lost Levels, really. But I get what you're saying to that. Whoa. As I said, we should be definitely doing more stuff as far as Mario. We will, at some point as well. And I guess to go that direct thing, yeah, the Chrono Cross remaster, which does have the, I'm trying to remember what the name of that thing is. It's not Restless Dreams, that's Silent Hill 2. But they have that Satellaview game that is like a prequel to it. And what was I saying when I sometimes say like, hey, we mentioned stuff on the show, and then a week later a company comes out and says, oh, we're releasing this. I mean, Protorova and I, not just last week, we were talking about Chrono Cross on this show, and then Square came out and said, oh, by the way, we're releasing this. So I'm like, yeah, either they bugged our show or something, or, okay, fine. With Chrono Cross, they said a while back, like, it was rumored they're going to be bringing it back. Now they're just doing it. So it's like, hey, everything's just lining up. Alright. Yeah, at this point, hey, it's good to this way as far as us talking this way, because, yeah, we were basically back almost where we were, sort of. But alright, what do you say? He said something about arrows or spikes or something. Right, yeah, just get rid of the, Bowman, and he's gone. And you know, it also shows, since I'm back here, let me just show also what I mentioned. Yeah, because if you stand on these too long, they break. But if you fall, they will come back to life if you off-screen them. So yeah, there you go. So you can basically try this as much as you need to. And be careful not to hit the spikes on the side. Yeah, alright, yeah, like that. So yeah, see, that's the case where I'm doing worse. Although, feasibly what you want to do is you want to jump on the one on the right, and jump on the left so you'll have an easier time making the jump. Alright. So we got the 5 lives going in. We should be good. Alright, yeah. Good to see you again, Prince Mickey. It's like it hasn't been 5 minutes. Alright, back to Pete's Tower. And hopefully get through this. Hopefully I won't get a game over. But as I said, I don't mind it. Look, as I said, I'm not going to take shame in terms of this one for the purpose of that. And in that case, I'm definitely nervous on Star Fox next week. As I said, I'm practicing that. But I also, it's one of those cases where sometimes you play a game like this, and you're going to do this, and you don't feel ready. I'm practicing the game pretty much all week, but I was like, well, I hope we can do it. I hope I can do it well. I'll do what I can on that. Basically, when I'm done with this, I'm going to practice that game pretty much non-stop whenever I have free time over the next week. But I am looking forward to doing that for sure. I mean, let's put it this way. I had to get my car serviced this week. I was in the car dealership waiting, playing that game. I was like, I know I gotta practice this, so let me practice this here. Like, nobody thought weird of it. But I was like, yeah, I'm even doing it when I'm out, like, getting my car taken care of. That's how much I care about the show, and also the requests that you make, and I appreciate that. Alright, so back to the tower with the, Weasels again, and okay, I do have enough. Alright, I just like, wait a second, do I have enough marbles to handle this? Yeah, Yeah, I think Mickey's dialogue is overlapping with itself. Oh. Yeah, it does say that, a lot here. Oh, shit. That's the problem with the arrowmen, or the bowmen. They shoot that off at... Oh, crap, I hit that. Yeah, what happened? Okay, at least there's a delay so I can see, like, yeah, I jumped into it like an idiot. That's what sometimes happens with a game like this. But alright, we're at 4 lives at least, so it's better. I mean, if nothing else, I'll say this. It goes into one other thing. We mentioned that with the other we mentioned the Mario games as far as that, or the ones we mentioned. This game, and even some other ones, which is, I guess, goes to this perspective, which is, back then, even though you had a game that was based on a license like Mickey Mouse, you would still have the case where, no, it would be difficult enough to challenge you, even as a kid, to get a sense of, alright, yeah, they're gonna, if you've played it long enough, you're at the end of the game, yeah, they're not screwing around anymore, you're gonna be having to run that challenge and survive. Alright. You know, can I get him to walk over here? Yeah, I can. Okay, so I'm gonna do what I should have been doing before, not fighting them. Or fine, not fighting some of them. Okay, you know what? I'll do that so I can also save my marbles. Like right there. Oh shit. Yeah, he hit me off screen. I was like, yeah, there you go. It's not unfair. Well, fine, it is unfair, I guess. But I was like, well, alright, fine. I should have been more careful. And that's what I meant as far as a game that punishes your little mistakes, and this game definitely does that. In fact, in some ways, I'd say this is probably the Traveler's Tales game that does that the most, unless the stories I've heard about Rascal really are true. Because I heard Rascal is supposed to be a disaster on the PlayStation, more for its controls and camera, but just the idea that it's insanely difficult for that very reason. Alright, there you go. Whoa. Alright, okay, this is where I died. Just like, yeah, they'll die. But also, good news is me dying here means that I literally pop up right here. Although, because of how it works in this version, you can pop up in an enemy. So yeah, be careful there. And also, when you do die, you do get a... Well, your marbles are cut down to 10, but if you don't have any, you still have them. And that was the end of the level anyway. Okay, so yeah. There you go. Now, on the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis, we would be fighting Pete next. On this version and the PlayStation version, you have this level. This is unique. If you're hearing engines outside, yeah, it's my neighbor, so do not pay it any mind. Or, hi neighbors, good to have you on the show. Yeah, I sound like Mr. Rogers, don't I? Alright. So there's Pete, who is sort of voiced. It's not Jim Cummings voicing him. In fact, it's not really much of anybody voicing him. I couldn't even find the credit. In fact, Wayne Allwine isn't even credited as Mickey in this game, weirdly enough. But I know exactly that's him. Alright, here's how this exclusive level works. It is exclusive to this version, and then the PlayStation version that came in Europe. Yeah, you have to go and pick the pencils up. When you do that, yeah, Pete's up on the boxes. We have the other thing. Also, flashing white warning here. Yeah, you have, yeah, Mad Dr. Mickey lighting the fuse and shooting the can off, and he does the whistle, and the weasels come out. And what happens also, by the way, is that the items here will respawn. So yeah, take advantage of that. Also, the other thing to do is wait for the weasels to move out of the way. Wait for that one to wait out of the way. I'm just gonna do that. Because I want to have as many lives as I can going to Pete. Because he is not easy. On any version. Oh, right. And jump off quickly so that, yeah, those guys don't get in my way either. Oh, alright. And by the way, yeah, Pete's here. He's not gonna hurt me. I'm jumping into sword. It doesn't do anything. At least not yet. So, you could feasibly say, like, alright, fine. Maybe they tack this level on. And the idea, like, even his animation, he's just kind of still. But yeah, whatever. Okay, so we have to go basically back and forth to get the other pencils. And also don't die. I think you do have to start this all in again if you do die. And there's no, firework here to save you. Alright, so there's the next one. So we saw Mad Dr. Mickey. Now we have a unique animation for Mickey the Beanstalk Mickey cutting the beanstalk down. So there you go. Alright, and by the way, the other thing is when you kill the weasels here, he does the whistle like that, they'll come back. So it's worth pointing that out. So sometimes, like, maybe you don't always want to kill them, but sometimes, like, well, no, they need to die. Especially because you're going back and forth this way. But yeah, just keep doing this, and we'll get to the last boss. Or, yeah, you know what? Yeah, fine, there you go. There's the one weasel. Yeah, I'll get more marbles, I'll get more stars on this end anyway, so we'll be fine. Just take a breather, and we'll set. Alright, so there is that, and, you know, it may as well not even bother killing him, just get the other pencil. At that we have Lonesome Ghost Mickey just running into the wall and pushing the box away. Alright, so yeah, this is basically this, and as I said, this is unique to this version. Before the PlayStation version released, this was the only version that had this. The Genesis and Super Nintendo version did not. which is also the reason, as I mentioned, why if you can't get it on Sega CD, the Genesis is the way to go on this one. Because, yeah, it has everything else but this. Alright, whoa. Okay, yeah, I don't know why he wasn't shooting me, but alright, there we go, got him. Right, I've got tons of marbles, which is fine for now. Honestly, the marbles are not going to be, you know, much of anything in the next stage. Because the next stage is the last boss, by the way. Alright, here's Moose Hunter Mickey doing the horn blow. Yeah, it causes the moose to come in and run him over. But you do get unique animations as far as Pete here, so yeah, that's the idea of this, which is nice to have the extra stuff. Alright. Yeah, I don't know how I didn't get hit by him, but alright. And I believe I just have to hit him 2 more times, or get 2 more pencils. Oh, right. Well, what am I doing? I should be hitting him off screen, but alright, fine. We'll get 2 hit points anyway, so no issue there. Alright, so there is Prince Mickey. Yeah, Pete tossed him in the dungeon. He was like, yeah, he wants revenge. And Pauper Mickey too. See, Pauper Mickey's gonna pull the sword out and slice him. Yeah, there you go. I do love that touch. Like, it goes to the idea of, like, the Disney take of that. Like, yeah, Pete, but you keep thinking, like, you want to hear Jim Cummings doing the voice. Yeah, as far as what we've got with that, well, Kingdom Hearts 2, because Pete is in Kingdom Hearts 2, but also, at some point I think we should do this. Mickey Speedway USA for Nintendo 64, which has him in it. Actually, I used to play as Pete all the time in that one. This fight doesn't look fun at all. Well, here's it's weird. I'll say this, and, okay, I'll say this. It is unique to this version, so it is something that they added that's not in the other ones, but it is basically back and forth. So, look, I get the idea. It's not necessarily something that I would necessarily disagree with you. Like, well, if you're looking at this and saying, like, who cares, I'm not missing much by just playing this on the Genesis. Yeah, fair point. Although we are ending the way we started, which is with Steamboat Willie Mickey. And actually, technically that extra level in the PlayStation version is a little more substantial. I think maybe it's more just, as I mentioned, the Sega CD case of, you know, showcasing extra tech for it, but not necessarily much of a massive jump from the 16-bit systems, which I guess goes to, when we did Sonic CD, like, as you mentioned this, why did the Sega CD not really go much of anywhere? You could argue that something like that is kind of the reason. The idea of, like, what's the case of it? It is kind of hilarious, so it is interesting to look at. I agree with that as well. And this is the final boss. This is the same, except Pluto is here, he's biting him. Works the same as it did on that system. He'll throw that there, and the stars will come down. Be careful to avoid them. Push the spiked thing into him, or miss. Alright. Yeah, but yeah, the stars will come down each time he hits the ground. Okay, he just missed that. Alright, so I'll have to move that a little closer. What you want to do is oh shit, or jump onto it. You know, don't do that. Also, duck underneath that because, yeah, the sword can hurt you, and I believe in this version it's a little... I guess it's easier for it to hurt you. Alright, there we go.
Didn't mean to hurt you.
Okay, that's bullshit. He says I didn't mean to hurt you. Yes, he did. We meant to, you know, have him get his ass stabbed on that thing. I mean, look, I'm being a little uncouth that way. Look, that's what we're doing. You have to do that to him about, 5-6 times, I think. About. And I'm also not touching those health items over there, even though I do have 3 lives. Also, the other thing is, yeah, you kind of want to try and set up the spike wheel thing in the center quickly if you can. Okay, fine, I shouldn't have done that.
Didn't mean to hurt you.
Stop saying that, Mickey. We do mean to hurt him. Oh my god, this is funny. Okay, so, Lifers, you said you never beat this game. So have you seen this boss? Okay, here we go. Alright, so this is the last part of the battle. And that's also where... Oh shit, okay, I should have done that now. Alright. This is where it gets a lot harder because the pattern of the stars when they come down is a little more erratic. And he'll do that laugh, and you have to hit the lever where the ball is. So actually, I had to do it over here, so I was going, no, you haven't seen this. Alright, so alright, you are seeing the way the battle is, and you don't have those ow voices in this version. So there's that perspective, too. It's like, yeah, although then again, I mean, I guess feasibly, if Pete was, I guess, gonna do something like this, maybe there's the expectation it would end up badly this way. Unless maybe you're familiar with him in Goof Troop, where it's like, well, no, he'd just come with a get-rich-quick scheme that wouldn't work, and then Goofy would be, like, sorta kind of trying to go along with it. Or just the idea, like, basically him saying things like, you know, I want you to clean my, chimney so much that you could eat off of it. He's like, well, maybe you should, you're gonna have to get some new china for that. I was like, well, maybe you're gonna have to get a new brain. He's like, yeah, Pete knows what to cut into, Goofy, who's always called him, yeah, get out of my way, Goof! I've never beat the runaway bed level. The gurneys in Mad Doctor level? Is that what we're talking about? Actually, to be honest, that's one that I've heard people say, like, yeah, if they have trouble with that game, that's actually one of the trouble spots. Or this area. Oh, we did it! Oh my god, okay, we did it. Without me getting game over. Wow, thank god. Alright. That was a shock. I thought I'd have to get a game over and do it, but alright, he's dead. That is insanely hard. Yeah, we can go back and show that. But yeah, we did it. We're done with the game, but we're not done with the show, because there's a couple other things I do want to show off. Alright. P has been defeated, and Mickey gets started in his next animated cartoon. Watch for coming soon. Did you find the Mad Doctor and band concert Mickeys? We're gonna go find the band concert one. We got the Mad Doctor one. Also, next animated cartoon, let me go into what that is. This came out in 1994. This was referencing Runaway Brain, which came out in 1995. It was attached as a short subject in front of the movie A Kid in King Arthur's Court, and then it was attached the year after in front of a Goofy movie. It was not in front of it when I went to see a Goofy movie, which I do like as far as that, as far as the movie anyway. And yeah, so that was Mickey's new cartoon. I guess that's the idea. We're also getting the enemy roll call as far as all the places we went. I guess all the places we will go as far as before we end the show tonight. But yeah, they were sort of tying this into Runaway Brain to a certain extent. But yeah, it is interesting to see this. I can see also the evolution of Pete. There's Pete when we first saw him in 1928, with the idea of him here. And it is kind of weirdly hilarious, and as I said, weirdly dark. You think this with Mickey Mouse, you think this is going to be this family-friendly character, and he is, but it's like, yeah, you're going to the Mad Doctor area, you're getting, you know, the gurneys with the buzzsaws on them, you're getting Pete in here, you're having him jump onto the spiked, you know, wheel thing, you have him hit in the face with a mace, or like a wrecking ball. So like, yeah, it goes to the idea of like, back in like the 20s, 30s, 40s, yeah, cartoons for kids, quote-unquote, were more violent, I guess, or darker that way. So, and honestly, this game kind of captures that, as well as the, I guess, the exploration as far as Mickey Mouse itself. I mentioned those epic Mickey games. I'm not big on the second at all, but the first one I kind of like, but, and I know Warren Spector, who made those games, said specifically he wanted to do that. He wanted this, like, darker take of Mickey Mouse, like the Mad Doctor, which is why the Mad Doctor is a big part of that game. Actually, both of those games. And those would be ones I'd be willing to show at some point, because I like the first one. The second, not so much. If I get the second, I'll probably get it on the PS3. But yeah, so there we go. And I guess it goes on that perspective of what really was the point of this game, as I mentioned, which was the celebration of Mickey Mouse, which, as they said on the box, they're also emphasizing what the CD did, which was, this was the first time ever that Disney animators created animations of Mickey Mouse for a video game. So there you go. The moose reminds me of the bull that Bugs fought. Oh, oh, right. You mentioned the name of that bull from Bugs Bunny, from when he was, like, doing the thing with Bull. Yeah, that's true, and we should do a Looney Tunes game as well. Specifically, whatever one you want to see, we can make that happen. Actually, maybe one of the Bugs Bunny ones, like Rabbit Rampage. And, what was the other one? Double Trouble, which was on Sega Genesis, that had the bull specifically in it. I'm trying to remember his name. But yeah. I mean, it goes to the perspective, as I mentioned, like, the classic case of, like, all these old cartoons, and I guess the fact that, really, that was kind of like the idea of, like, going hand in hand with that in gaming in the 90s, and the perspective, which is really fascinating that way. But yeah, thank you for playing, and we get the credits. Yeah, there's a nice piano element as far as the script that he's reading. And yeah, John Burton, as I mentioned, and Andy Ingram, who were of Traveler's Tales, or actually still are, they still work there, you know, making this game. And Sony Image Software published it. So yeah, before PlayStation, Sony was doing publishing games, and they went off on their own. And David Jaffe, who co-developed or co-designed the game with Mike Guillaume, I believe, or Glam, one of the two. But yeah, that is Mickey Mania for the Sega CD. If you can get it on this, I'd say get it on this. Yeah, David Judson, who did the adaptation for this specifically for this version, because it does have extra stuff, although, as like first you're mentioning, you're not wrong in saying not all of it necessarily amounts to a whole lot, but the music especially. The audio upgrade on this is significant and it's great. And an early take of David Jaffe, David Jaffe, yes, but also Michael Giacchino did the music. Yeah, they have some, like, humorous elements of, yeah, in fact, John Burton's name is backwards as far as that. Yeah, it is hard. I made it look easier than I thought I would, because I thought, oh, I'm gonna get a game over at the end of it, and there's Michael Giacchino right there. But, yeah, it is a fun game. It definitely is a nice celebration of Mickey Mouse as far as that, and if you're a fan of Mickey Mouse or Disney, it is one worth playing. I'll definitely say that. Although, if you can't get it on Sega CD, I'd say the Genesis version is cheaper. This one's actually pretty expensive now. I bought it for 20 bucks back in 2008. But it's like $80, $90 now, so it's a bit of an investment. So if you're not sure if you're gonna like Mickey Mania and want to spend that much specifically, I'd say get it on the Sega Genesis. And since you mentioned it, there is, I guess, the take of Bugs Bunny cartoon for that. Well, thank you very much. I thank you very much, by the way, Alex, as far as you're providing all this stuff, because it adds, as you mentioned, it adds content to the show, and it also means that, yeah, you're gonna have more value for what's going on, especially when it goes to the YouTube site in a couple of days, which I think, given the way this is going to go, this is probably going to go up a little sooner just because of the fact that this is going to be a shorter play than some of the other stuff, although next week is going to be, I guess, a little longer. We'll see how that goes. Oh, by the way, if you enjoy this game, buy it twice. Well, technically that I did buy it twice. I bought it on the Super Nintendo initially, I sold it for the Super Nintendo, and then I bought this version. But as I said, if you want to get it, I'd say get it on the Genesis. The Super Nintendo version is fine, but they cut out 3 levels. They cut out that one we saw. Well, fine, they didn't cut that one out we saw at the end, because that's only in this one. But it cut out the first tower and Mad Doctor stage, and it cuts the band concert out, which we're going to show the band concert now. So let me show you also how the stage select code is going to work. I thought I'd have to use this just to finish the game, but thankfully I did not. So what you do is, for this version specifically, this is unique to the Sega CD, you have to do this. Go on the sound test, you select the music of the continue. Sound effect you want to select up here, which I think is the last one. And for speech, you want to select take that. And then go down to exit, hold left on the D-pad for 5 seconds. Yeah, have you heard that beep there? That was not me moving anything. That tells you did it right. On the Genesis, you have to select speech as Super Nintendo's a little different. Because actually, there's no even speech take on the Super Nintendo game. Alright, so start game, when you do that, you get to select any level. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to, I believe it's bonus level. Yeah, first battle is that one we saw, and here's bonus level. This is in the Genesis version as well, but I'll show it here. We're going to start and we show it. And it's another case of the Super Nintendo would be able to handle this, so this is not, I don't understand why it's not in here. But alright, if we had jumped up that right way, as I mentioned on Mickey and the Beanstalk.
The band concert.
Yeah, we got one based on the band concert, which is on Disney Plus, by the way, if you have that. So yeah, you're in the sky, you have to jump up here, and jump on the boxes to get to the top. Oh shit, or miss. And by the way, if I miss, fine, I missed. Alright, I'm gonna kill myself and we're gonna do this again, because I want to get to the top of this. Now, just to give you an idea of this, yeah, if you fall out, you go back to the garden. And so that means basically we're gonna have to go back to Mickey and the Beanstalk. I'm gonna have to kill myself. So, while I'm doing that, we can keep going into that, but I do want to get to the top of that, because if you do get to the top of that, you do get the sight of why is this like the band concert, number 1.
Here, boy.
And number 2, let's see, yeah, come on, kill me, butterflies. So yeah, you're going to be seeing, the death of Mickey specifically. It was like, well, don't worry, he'll be fine, he'll come around. But yeah, you get up the top of that, you do see the referencing to band concert specifically. On top of that, you also get to continue. And it's the only place in the game you can get to continue. So we're going to show that. I guess we can go back and select first and relive your memories of the Gurney cake. Just to give that a little more of a take to that. So yeah, just let the butterflies kill Mickey. He'll be fine, I guess. Okay, fine, that's a lie. He's dying, but whatever. But also, I guess I'll show what would happen if you got a game over and, he goes into that aspect. Alright, butterflies go. Also, one other thing I'll also do when I go back to the menu, I don't have to put the code in the game, that's number 1. But number 2, I'll also cut the number of lives down so I don't have to do this as much if I fail again. Otherwise, you have to bounce up on top, and there you go. Okay, so, yeah, game over, but, we'll just sit here and let it go. Yeah, we're not letting him... well, fine. He's not continuing this adventure. He'll continue another one. Also, they cut off that music for some reason.
Try again.
Yeah, we're gonna try the band concert again. I do want to show that, because as I said, I didn't get to show it as we played, but alright, one thing I'm gonna do is... yeah, fine, 3 lives. And you know what the hell, let's put it on hard. It's not gonna make a difference anyway. So back bonus level we go. Also, there's no soft reset as far as the Sega CD for this game for some reason. You can't hold A, B, and C and start and reset the game, so unfortunately we gotta do it this way. But alright, let's try again on the band concert.
Band concert.
And if I can't get this at 2 hours for the run on this, we'll stop. But in the meantime, keep hitting me with anything you got as far as the discussion. I'm loving that. Oh shit, no! Alright, yeah, again, that's the other thing. You have to be specific on this. Alright, yeah, I keep falling out. This is the final battle of Vector Man. Yeah, because I've seen what the final battle of that looks like. And, well, let's go into that, actually. So that's a good case of this. Well, you know, we fell down and we have to, you know, get killed by the butterflies again. So I guess that's gonna be the theme of this. Is like, yeah, Mickey Mouse dying by butterflies. But, yeah, let's talk about that, because Vector Man, we've mentioned that game a couple times in the show before, for the Sega Genesis by Blue Sky Software, who developed that. And with that game, the whole point of that is that it was showing off, like, polygons, or the idea of, like, showing polygon rotation stuff on the Genesis on board. And so a lot of that, what it meant was you had a lot of, you know, I guess, rotating elements to that, and you're right, the final boss in that game was a lot like this, in that, you know, you're in this vortex, you have, like, the boxes that are spinning that way. Which isn't necessarily a sprite case, really, compared to some other stuff. So that makes it really interesting, and in a lot of ways, Traveler's Tales did a lot of that, actually, with a lot of the early stuff, which was this, especially Toy Story, which came out the year after this, which is definitely one I could show off as well. And also, at some point, I do want to show off, well, that one, and also Toy Story 2, of which I want to buy the Dreamcast version, we're going to show that. But yeah, because they did do stuff with that a lot, and Vector Man as well, the idea of, you know, the Sega Genesis being able to do, I guess, these kind of 3D takes, I guess, as the industry was shifting to 3D. And honestly, Mickey Mania was kind of at the time that was happening. And also, like, the wind take as well. Alright, I'll try not to miss the jump this time. Okay, yeah, I had to open my big mouth again. Alright, so unfortunately, see, it's weird. I thought beating the game was going to be the problem, but showing off what this is the problem. So, alright, fine. What I'm going to try next time is I'm not going to move. But, yeah, the idea that, as I mentioned, the perspective of, like, what tech really was looking like, and the movement of, I guess, the industry from 2D games like this to a lot of 3D stuff, and Sony as well, because Sony published this, as we mentioned, but then they were going into their own case with PlayStation, I guess feasibly then porting this game themselves to PlayStation, saying, like, okay, fine, let's release it here for Europe anyway, and then do that. But, as I said, it was an interesting case that, I guess, at the time, like, so at the time you had a lot of games with, like, 2 and 3D stuff in 2D, I guess, to try and blur the lines. We'll see that also when we do Mischief Makers in October. But, so, good observation as far as that. As far as Vector Man is concerned, we can definitely play that game. I'm kind of on it to some degree as far as how it plays. I like its sequel, honestly, more, which I know is kind of a controversial opinion, but the first one is a fine enough game. There's definitely some good stuff, and it looks good if you take out the perspectives I mentioned of me thinking, like, oh, it's like Donkey Kong Country, what they're trying to do with this. But hey, it still looks good, so I can't necessarily give them a lot of trouble. Alright, let's try the band concert again. Yeah, alright. Yeah, here's the other thing. It doesn't matter that I keep doing this over and over again, because, Chad, as long as you have things to say, and, well, fine, you have a lot to say, clearly. Whatever you have, just keep hitting me, we'll do it. While I try this again. And I'm not gonna do what I did before, which is... Okay, fine, I'll do even worse. Jump right off. Alright. So, okay, this goes to the idea of, like, why this level's hard. Although, you know, just to make things a little more interesting, I want to see something. If I fell out, but I went in from the stage select, if I can make that jump over there, can I still try again? I'll try that, and then I'll try one more time. And I guess, maybe if I don't... I guess I'm in an awkward case. It's like, well, I'm struggling on something that's really optional. So it's like, but I do want to show that optional case. I want to give this game the full treatment. Okay, alright, there you go, right up there. That's what I was trying to get. I wasn't able to. If you do get up there and you don't die here the way I did, you go into the band concert. There's like an arrow that pops up there. Now, what I'll do is I'll probably put like a picture in the YouTube site just to show like what it looks like. It's basically you go up there and there's an arrow. But if you go up there on Super Nintendo, the arrow's not there. So yeah, the level doesn't exist. As I said, I don't know, just going to this on the Super Nintendo version, because I played all 3 of these. I don't know why the Super Nintendo version doesn't have it. I don't know, maybe, like, they ran out of time, or they had elements of the production cost, perhaps. And I guess that also was probably, like, the thing with the loading. Which, as I said, the load times in that cartridge version on Super Nintendo are worse than this. They're like, the CD system, you get that, but on the Super Nintendo, yeah, they're worse. Alright, yeah. So, yeah, fine. We'll continue trying again, and then, eventually we'll be done with this.
Try again.
Yeah, I wish I could just try this again, just jumping in. I guess it goes to one other thing, which is, since this game's not gotten many modern re-releases, the idea of you know, the save state case. Like, I don't think there's any save state version of this game unless you're doing an emulation of it. But yeah, I am running my Sega CD copy. This is authentic, so fortunately we don't have that safety net, or I don't anyway. Oh, let's try again. I'll try and actually do it right. Okay, there we go. So we're doing better. Oh, no. Alright, so, fine. One block above. So, like, alright, fine, we're going there. You know what? I guess what I'll also do is that if I can't get this in a couple of minutes, or a couple more minutes, I'll just tell you what's going on there. Because then you get the sense, like, why is this like the band concert? Which, that cartoon is on Disney Plus, by the way, if you have Disney Plus. So it does kind of go into, like, what's the idea? Or, actually, here's the other thing. Like, for she's saying it's the final battle of Vector Man, which, yeah, there's a good case to make to that. But in some ways, it's also like Windy Valley in Sonic Adventure, where, or fine, Windy Valley is like this, to a certain extent, in that you're going in the tornado. Oh, fine, the tornado, the actual one, as opposed to the plane. Yeah, just keep doing this, like, see, I'll say the other thing is, like, yeah, I'm failing this part of it, but it's like, okay, since I beat the game already, I don't really have much of a, you know, shame to feel. And this is something optional anyway, so I'm like, okay, fine. And then I think what I'll do is I'll also show the thing with the gurney again, just because, you know, that idea. And as you mentioned, you're right to say that that's kind of the part that stymied people. And it is a weird case as far as, like, how that works, because I think when I first went through it, like, when we played tonight, the first thing that happened was I jumped, hit the floor, but you die when you hit the floor. Which I guess also something that we saw in The Lion King the same year. It's like, yeah, you jump wrong on that ostrich and can't wait to be king, yeah, you're dying. It's like, it doesn't matter that it's like just the savannah plain there. I was like, yeah, no, there's like spikes underneath it or something. And yeah, Simba dies. Another case of like early in the game, second level of a Disney game from 1994, where kids were saying like, man, this is too hard. And yeah, they're not wrong about that. Alright, there we go. Okay, so okay, fine. I guess I gotta wait more. My concern is, like, I don't necessarily know if I want to wait, because then well, okay, fine. You know what? I'll try again with just staying there next. And I think that at that point, I'll probably stop, because, like, yeah, this is feasibly getting, I guess, dull. And I guess if I can't, also, I'll put a picture as far as, like, what is gonna look to that. Because, you know what? Fine. I'll just reveal now what it is. You see Mickey up there, because the idea of that cartoon, by the way, if you've never seen it, is that he's basically playing in a band with Goofy and Donald, as it is. And I think the idea is they go into a tornado, all these weird things are happening, and then, well, yeah, that's it. Alright, come on. Maybe we get to hear more of the Mickey and the Beanstalk music on top of that, because it is great stuff. As I said, it's the case with the CD version, they really did enhance it nicely over what is on the Genesis cartridge and Super Nintendo as well. Alright, so one more try. Also, by the way, I think one other thing is oh shit, I didn't mean to hit start. Okay, but because I'm on hard, though, it doesn't matter, because as soon as I do this, I get a game over. Alright, fine, I should have been paying attention, but alright, what I was going to say is I think that the microphone is picking up the disc axis of my Model 1 Sega CD. Which actually I'm seeing like right down where I have it, of the idea that the ready light and then it like going red when I have to do a load. Oh! Okay, no, this is easier. I can just fall off and die. Alright, perfect. So, alright, me continuing probably wasn't a bad idea. I was like, okay, let's just die quicker. Alright, so that was faster. Although in this case, like, yeah, it should be like, you know, Mickey and the Beanstalk. He just falls off the damn thing. And since I do have hard selected for that, we only have the one continue. At least I think we do.
Game's over. Try again.
And also, that's the other thing, just to go in the game over music, as long as I'm, I guess, reaching for something new to talk about to this. The music in the... well, in the Genesis version specifically, is more somber when you get a game over than it is in this one. And actually, on the Super Nintendo, they have that game over music from the Genesis version, but when you get a game over, they don't play it there for some reason. And I don't know, there's actually a lot of music on that Super Nintendo version that they have from the Genesis version, but never plays in-game. I don't know why that is. Which is another reason why, if you can't get Sega CD, get on Genesis. I'll just say that. And it's also cheap on Genesis, like probably $10.
Top band concert.
Alright, yeah, back at the band concert. Let's see how this goes. Again, I'll just be a little more careful. Try to. Shit! Okay, fuck it, I'm done. I'm sorry. I'll put a picture as far as what this looks like. I've wasted enough of your time. I'm sorry. But, basically what happens is you climb up to that, as was mentioned, the final battle of Vector Man that way, but instead of finding, like, first tell me, what's the name of the final boss in that game? I'm trying to remember who it is. But instead of finding him, you find Mickey, who is, like, in the conductor outfit, and I'll put the picture in, so you'll see it. And then it says, like, great, and you gotta continue. It says, good job, you gotta continue, and you come back here. So it is a bonus stage specifically, but yeah, it's like, I thought the rest of the game was gonna be giving more of a difficulty than that. But we will also show the thing that, Warhead, thank you. Alright, appreciate that.
Here, boy.
Because I mentioned, in my case, here's the other thing. I'll go into my Vector Man experience, I guess, while we're, you know, closing down on this game eventually. The first time I played it was actually with a bad port of it. It was the Sega Smash Pack Volume 1 on the Dreamcast that had that. And at some point we'll show that collection off for Virtual Cop 2 because that's great. It turns out they ported that. And Sega Swirl, which is in there as well. But the Genesis stuff is ported horribly. That was my first time playing Vector Man, so maybe that clouded my judgment, but when I played the other collections that had it, I was like, I was kind of on it. And I mentioned the Sonic Gems collection thing of like, hey, Japan got the Streets of Rage games, we got this. I'm like, yeah, okay. But, alright, fair enough, it's also a different take. Alright, fine, let's go back to deal with the Gurneys, just because, oh yeah, the Gurney ride, here you go. So you said, this is the area you didn't beat, and, you know, let's go into that, because here's the thing about this, and this goes, I guess, to the idea of, like, growing up with a game or having familiarity with the game, which is, sometimes you remember those really hard points, and what were the points that either made you want to keep playing or not, or renting in that case. Yeah, you come here, yeah, you have, you know what, fine, it doesn't matter, I have lives, so I'm gonna specifically just die here, intentionally. Yeah, you have to jump or duck underneath those. Also, you can bounce on them and get the life, but I missed it. But also, as I mentioned, if you jump and hit the ground, in fact, I'll show that. Okay, you can duck underneath that, I did not know that. Yeah, if you land there on the ground, yeah, you're dead. So yeah, that's the other thing. This looks difficult. Yeah, honestly, the band concert was giving more trouble, but yeah. It's also difficult there because, yeah, I just went through the wall there, because I jumped there to get the extra life, and you have to jump on that very specifically, and you have to hit that. Alright, yeah, I just missed it, so that's what the idea is. And, yeah, like, first there's a point to this, because I remember when I first played this game, it was 94 when it came out, I remember having trouble with this. Actually, my brother did. Alright, we're done. Oh, fine, I got through that, but the thing is that really what you do with this, and what makes it, I guess, really hard is that it's really a test of your jumping skills, and also the idea that, you know, if you don't jump correctly, you know what, I'll, also show one other thing I show off the test, I was seeing on the test play, which I didn't know. This is Contra Castlevania Syndrome. Yeah, that, platform there, it doesn't exist, I fell right through it. Yeah, so you have to go down the entire, tower that way, otherwise, yeah, you can't cheese this, you can't just say, like, oh yeah, those platforms can collapse and you can go, well. You know, it's just gonna start me back at the beginning of Mad Doctor, we may as well just go through that, just show the gurney thing again, but yeah, I mean, he has a point, because the idea is, like, if you don't jump right, you die. And in a lot of cases, people say, like, hey, what sense does it make that I hit the floor and I die? It goes to that idea, I guess, of, like, what's the logic of the game? Where did I just throw it there? Which is the idea that I fell through that platform that collapsed on the tower. There's platforms underneath that, but apparently the game didn't load it right at the time, or didn't expect that. The idea is like, oh, you're supposed to go in a row like that. And it's like, no, the game doesn't agree that I landed there. So it goes to that idea of, you know, I'll say this, and also goes to what Ed Wack was saying to me right before I started tonight. He said specifically, I told him I'm doing this game. He said, when are you doing the Mickey Mouse Capades play? And I said, whenever you want, and whenever I get a copy of it. And I know he said that on purpose as far as, like, you know, wanting to make me, you know, punished that way because of, well, first off, I had a bad game Thursday this week with him on Superman for Nintendo 64, because I said, yeah, you have to play this, it's about time. But then also because Mickey Mouse Capades from Capcom for the NES is supposed to not be a very good game, and it's supposed to be the idea of, you know, I guess, sort of cheap mechanic element, sort of, or the idea of, like, hey, you have to adjust to the idea of how the game's on, like right here. In fact, I'm glad I'm doing this, because, yeah, the rope. I kind of was going a mile a minute when we were playing this tonight, but now I'm here and I'm, you know, at the case, like, fine, we beat the game. In Castle Illusion, we were holding on the rope, and you hit into an enemy with your body. Yeah, you kick him in the face and he dies. Not in this game. In this game, you hitting the enemy, you die. So it's like, alright, so you have to adjust to that, and it goes to, I guess, fine, also avoiding the bones, because they explode, and they can kill you that way. But I guess to that, I'll posit this to the chat as well, and, well, fine, Mickey Mania is a good case of that as well, as far as the gurney case, but are there any other cases you played a game where you have to adjust to something that, logically speaking, you would think, like, wait, this doesn't make sense, but something that, no, you have to adjust to it, otherwise, because of the way the game is designed. So it's like, hey, you're really kind of talking about, really going, as I mentioned, we go in the guts of gaming here, but the guts of this element specifically, game design. And we've talked that before. We've talked elements of mechanics and things like that. The idea also of, hey, there's that, heart, or that, star up there, you have to jump in that very specifically, otherwise, you know, nothing happens. Yeah, because I'm jumping into it, looks like I'm touching that and nothing's happening. So it's like, how do they program it that way? So it kind of comes to that question of, alright, and I guess also this way, which is like, sometimes we say like, hey, playing a good game or a bad game, or do people like this game or not? In some cases they do, in other cases they don't. But just the idea of, what are you willing to, I guess, put up with and adjust to? And I guess this also goes to the Bram Stoker's Dracula game that, the same people who made this made. It has some really insane stuff, more than this one to some degree. Oh, but yeah, you go. Oh yeah, I missed that again. You know what? Yeah, because alright, that was weird. I just kind of got caught on the side of that. But yeah, the screen moving, I guess, crushed me to death. But just the idea, as I mentioned, of, you know, adjusting yourself to, alright, fine, in that case, me jumping right through the saw blade. Yeah, me having to take a hit feasibly unless you jump very specifically on the saw blade, because I mentioned, I was doing the test audio of this, and I said, as a joke to myself, saying, like, yeah, it looks like Mickey has clogs or something, was jumping on him, or just walking through and getting cut. Which is, I guess, how the actual cartoon this is based on goes. So, it kind of goes to something interesting that way when you really think about it. Or, you know what, fine, we'll go a little more. You know what, I guess we'll, for the purposes, let's just go to the Mad Doctor and just see him again, just because. But yeah, that's an interesting case to then. So, Dollyfin, you're right to be saying, like, how this is difficult, and also the other thing, which is you think, well, okay, this is Mickey Mouse. It's gonna be something that's gonna be easy to handle, and to some degree it can be, but in other cases, it's not. As I mentioned when we did Castle of Illusion, the hard mode of Castle of Illusion is no continues at all. You have to go through the entire game with that, as well as the bosses taking double damage and being fewer items for you to pick up. So at that point, it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter if this is based on Mickey Mouse. Still, the game is going to challenge you this way because of either the difficulty option it gives you or elements of how they design it, or a combination of both in the case of that one. And this one's kind of the same way, and it is an interesting thing. So, like, first again, I'm glad you brought this up, because it is pointing to something that I know a lot of people who said, or even right there, the skeleton came down, it kind of was moving itself, I guess, spreading itself out as it hit the ground, but that animation, as good as it looks, still hit me, and still got me in a case of, like, yeah, I'm gonna get hurt, or yeah, me swinging right into him, and getting myself hurt that way. And I guess, as I said, when, for you personally, do you necessarily say to that, like, oh, this is too hard, I don't want to touch it anymore, I've had enough, or saying, like, I'm going to adjust this until I get really, really good at it. And so there's something to be said about that, and that's an interesting case, too, also to show some of the other details. Yeah, like the clock there. So, yeah, you get to see all these little nice things. Well, I guess, you know, I'll leave Mickey here for a second, because what he'll do is he'll look at his watch again. Yeah, I guess his watch stopped. He's trying to, see if he can sync it to that one, but I guess not. Okay, right, there you go. Yeah, I walked into the skeleton. So, yeah, that's the other thing, because, yeah, enemies can come down from the sky. It's just weird. Like, we're talking about the difficulty of this after I've already beaten this game, which is really difficult. So I was like, okay, but I like that idea, too, of just kind of going into that. And, as I said, the relaxing case of this, but also talking about what you want to talk about as far as game, and especially with this one, it is pertinent that way. It's like, and I kind of just love those discussions that come up with this, really, which is just the idea of, okay, you know, history of Mickey Mouse, Felix the Cat coming up with it, Bosco, which is a case of that, and I'll put a picture of Bosco somewhere in this video when it goes up to reinforce that. And then other aspects as far as the design and the aspect of Mario, and the people who made it. As I said, there is a lot of famous talent behind this, and it's kind of interesting to see that too, and I guess put that into the context, I guess, of where the people who made this would go later. And it is fascinating, and I think for that reason, you know what, I guess I'll go with my final thoughts on Mickey Mania itself, which is, it is a hard game, it is a very demanding game. There are things about it that you have to adjust to, especially stuff with the collision detection, as I'm mentioning here, like the bones exploding of the skeletons that way. But at the same time, there is something that, with this game, and a lot of games of Traveler's Tales, you can tell this, they clearly, there was a labor of love they put into what it was, as far as also Disney saying this and saying, like, yeah, we believe in gaming enough to take a hands-on take on it, which is kind of what Disney does now, although in some cases maybe not as much. You know what, since we didn't go out this way before, I'll just go out now just to show that, hey, you go to the same area. We just don't find Mad Dr. Mickey. But yeah, in that case, there is a lot to admire this. I mean, I'll say this, though. If you're going to ask me to pick a 16-bit era Mickey Mouse game to play, I would pick Castle of Illusion or World of Illusion over this. Or even Land of Illusion, or Magical Quest. I would probably play either of those, or any of those before this one. But this is not a bad game, though. It's a good game, for sure. And especially the polish of it and the craft that was put in, you could see it. And also, I guess one other thing to go this with Traveler's Tales, because Dolphin, you mentioned this when we did Sonic 3D Blast, the idea of, they do a lot of those LEGO games, they do them based on licenses. I know you were going into a lot of stuff interesting that way as far as, like, the Back to the Future part of, well, Back to the Future itself, but also because they put that into LEGO Dimensions. But just the idea that, in a lot of cases with Traveler's Tales, especially when they worked with licenses, even with some of the elements you could say as far as the design that kind of can be annoying or questionable still, there is a lot to really respect, and I think that's the thing with Mickey Mania, is that this is a game that is a good game. I think it's I think it's a fun game. It has its design elements, but above anything else, I think I respect this game so much, I think, for what they were doing, and I guess what they got right for it. So in some ways, maybe even more so now, it's something that even the things that might have annoyed me playing it earlier still sort of do. I kind of can stop, look at that, and just realize that, okay, fine, they didn't get 100% on this, but still, you're never getting a sense, and this goes, I think, to a lot of the elements of the Disney games of this era, which is, you know, let's just have a Mad Doctor just walking around this way. I'm not going to hit him anymore. Try not to. But just the idea, I think that, in a lot of ways, and this is the idea of, like, the licensed game. We've said this before. Oh, okay, that went through me. What happened? Why did that not hit me? But, okay, fine, alright, fine, we are killing him anyway. But the idea of the licensed game, and one thing I'll say about Traveler's Tales is that they are definitely a company that, when it comes to a licensed game, they really want to give the player the perspective of, we're running in this world that we're setting up, regardless of what license it's based on, whether it's this, whether it's the LEGO Dimensions stuff, whether it's any of the LEGO games they've made or making, because they have one coming out in 2 months, or even the Sonic stuff we've seen, or we played, or the ones we will play eventually for Sonic R. You get the sense they clearly want to kind of capture that feel and give players something that is fun to play, even with some of the stuff that might not do perfect. As I mentioned, in this case, I would knock some of the difficulty later on, and also some stuff with collision detection. But still, they put a lot of effort into the game, and you can see that, and it goes to that idea of, with a game with theirs, I never get the sense, usually, that they just slapped the license on it, called it a day, and said, oh, people are going to buy this just because it's based on a license. Let's just give them a piece of crap for their $40 or $50, $60, however much they're going to pay, or for however much it costs for that, and they come home and it's like, oh, this isn't fun. I feel ripped off. I don't want to play a licensed game. Traveler's Tales, in a lot of ways, was able to buck that trend, and other companies, as we mentioned, who did stuff at the time, especially with Disney, who honestly kind of got off best. You know what, I'll tell you one last thing we're going to show. We're going to show me getting caught by the moose. We may as well, for the purpose of that. But I think, honestly, Disney kind of had a good run of it, and still kind of does, to some degree. I mean, you had bad games, Disney-based, sure, but you had stuff like this. You have stuff like Aladdin, and The Lion King, the Castle of Illusion, World of Illusion, all those Illusion games, the Magical Quest games. You have all those things, and all these other things. Okay, fine, I get run over by the moose. Alright, fine, there you go. And you know what? Fine. I will show myself being caught by the moose, and that'll take us 2 hours, so there you go. But I know, honestly, in that case, as mentioned, yeah, Disney and Mickey Mouse really had a good run, and I think there is a reason why, when you bring up a game like this, or Magical Quest, or some of these other ones, that people still do have an attachment. Alright, let's do the moose chase. Yeah, moose chase. Yeah, I'll just let myself be chased by the moose and caught by the moose, just because of it. Yeah, and you gotta love Pluto. That's true as well, and I think it is, as I said, it is all these little things. You can say, alright, with this game, they could just say, like, okay, fine, let's have this based on Mickey Mouse, you know, him going through. But they said, let's put Pluto in, let's tie it into the cartoons of, hey, with Pluto going. Let's have Mickey trip that way, flipping over that way, while I'm running away from the moose, who's kind of in the shadows over there, but as I'm slowing down, or he's catching up, the idea is he's kind of getting closer, and you can kind of see that. It's like, they put that effort into it, and it also goes to when we were playing Kingdom Hearts as well. You know, fine, let's let him gain on me, let's let him catch me, just to show what happens. Yeah, you die, by the way. Or you get run over. Okay, I forgot there was a cutscene specific to that. Okay, fine, alright, well, we're gonna have Mickey keep getting run over just for the purpose of this. Yeah, don't worry, we love Mickey Mouse here, it's just that, yeah, we're just going through this as, I guess, I go into these elements of it, and I guess you're liking that, so, I mean, I appreciate that. But I said, like with Kingdom Hearts, okay, fine. He's picking up the apples on his own. I'm not moving. I have my controller down. So wait, I guess the idea is like, what? Is Mickey gonna win this level with me doing nothing? But, we'll see. But as I mentioned, even with Kingdom Hearts, because that was brought up when we played it, and by the way, I just want to go back, that was a wonderful play we had. And Lifers, thank you for everything for that game, as far as recommending it, recommending we play it, having all the discussions, and with this one as well, on top of that. But I guess with that, you also get that sense of, that passion that's being put in, especially for a license like this. And in that case, you do really appreciate it. You do remember it. There's a reason why people still hold on to Kingdom Hearts strongly. There's a reason why they hold on to Magical Quest. And, the Castle of Illusion, World of Illusion, all this stuff. And this one, too. And especially something like this, with the technical stuff that it's doing. And I think that's the other fascinating thing with this one, that does put it in a unique place alongside those others. Because, as I mentioned, first game with the Disney animators involved to this. We saw them out, they went to Florida specifically to have them help out with this. And this was that idea of showing, like, yeah, adding that artistry to gaming the same way that they do, like, with the short cartoons or with movies. In that case, I think it is something we're celebrating. Okay, so I think that was... Oh, no, we're done trying again, Mickey. I think we've covered as much of this game as we could. Well, you know what? Fine, you know what? I'll try once more because we're coming up to 2 hours. I'll try one last time on Band Concert. If I don't get it now, we're done. Because I'm stubborn, but we'll see how this is going. I'd love if we could do it now, but we'll see. Oh, wait a minute.
Moose Hunter.
Oh shit, okay, we can't do it, never mind. Alright, because I continued. Oops, my mistake. Alright, fine, then we're not gonna continue. Alright, fine, just let, me get crushed by the, the rocks and all that stuff. But it also shows the other thing, because, yeah, you're getting the different animation when it gets hit by the rocks. Could you just, you get hit and flash, but no, they have the perspective, like, yeah, something's falling on you. I guess I'm getting pushed back there for some reason, as far as that. But, yeah, they're putting that attention to detail in it. Alright, yeah. Yeah, I literally just have the water ball in one hand, I'm holding the D-pad with my other hand and just walking and just, letting Mickey get crushed. But they said don't take this as, an attack on Mickey Mouse necessarily, it's just that, I just gotta get through this. And then we can go over what we're gonna be having for the next couple of weeks. As I said, this was sorta not planned, I guess, only because, I was gonna get back to this game anyway, to have the full official record of this from the one I did a couple years ago. But also just, fine, since we finished Kingdom Hearts early, makes sense. Give Mickey his time in the spotlight right now before we do those other ones. I said, we will get to those. We will definitely do the Magical Quest games. Gotta get them, but I will definitely pick those up. I'll be able to pick up Mickey Mouse capades, as far as Edwack wanted to see that. We'll do World of Illusion when I can get the person I want on to do that. That's going to be a way down the road case. And if I can get Game Gear running, I want to show Land of Illusion, because I love that game too. I guess in a lot of ways, Mickey Mania, kind of goes to, a lot of those memories I had with the Disney games of the 90s, and the idea that, in a lot of ways, yeah, Disney got off well with a lot of the licensed stuff they had, and you do remember them, and I think people, not just me, kind of have that attachment still. So it's going to go through the demos, but, yeah, so, that is Mickey Mania for the Sega CD, ladies and gentlemen. I had a good time playing this and showing off. It's definitely a bit of a shorter take as far as the show, but yeah, going into the stuff with the discussions with Mickey Mouse and other stuff adjacent that way made a fascinating perspective to that as we went along, and seeing more Pluto as well, as I've been seeing for sure. And I guess with Pluto, now I'm thinking about it, well, as like we're just mentioning, that's the plot of Magical Quest specifically, which is Pluto gets kidnapped by Pete. So yeah, Pete's causing trouble again as far as that, and we gotta save him. So we'll see Pluto that way as far as that, as well as other games, and also when we get back to Kingdom Hearts for Rechain of Memories. Because remember, we're chasing after Pluto. He has that letter with King Mickey's seal on it. We gotta go get it, but that'll come way down the road. But yeah, so I had a good time with that. No, poor Pluto. Well, to be fair, that's happened with Pluto, and as you mentioned, also the Mad Doctor. That was the case with this one. The case of that cartoon, if you've ever seen it, is that Pluto's kidnapped by the Mad Doctor and is going to do unspeakable things to him in the name of science. Basically, eugenics he's going on as far as Pluto the dog. It's yeah, Disney went there as far as that in 1933, and I guess the subtext of that in 1933. I'll let you write that yourself. But point is yeah, we'll still see Pluto and other stuff, but yeah, he'll be kidnapped in the game, but we'll get him back. So don't worry. Because that's the idea. It's yeah, Mickey doesn't give up that way. His friends don't give up that way as well. But yeah, I guess next time we do stuff with Mickey Mouse, again, I'll see when I can get, or how I can get the other games. Is that I'll get Magical Quest, all 3 of those to some degree, and we will definitely do them. So yeah, keep those requests coming. Disney, anything else, and we'll definitely get to them as we go along. And in that case, I had a good time showing off Mickey Mania for the Sega CD and showing off what's unique about it, what's new about it compared to the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis versions. And if you're in Europe, it is on PlayStation for you under Mickey's Wild Adventure, but you have to pay a lot. Also, you have to pay a lot for this. I'm saying it's expensive in the US for like $80, $90. It's like $400 on the Mega CD, which is what the Sega CD is called in Europe. So, yeah, in that case, it's really rare over there. Here, not as much, but still you're going to be paying a bit, and you're paying for the extra content, and especially the music, which is terrific, and the extra audio stuff. But if you don't have Sega CD or don't want to pay that much, Genesis is the way to go. And if you can get it on Super Nintendo as well, but just be aware of the stuff that it has that is definitely downgraded from the others. But still fun enough. So, like, either way, you want your Mickey Mouse fix, your Mickey Mania fix, yeah, you'll get a good representation of it in various different ways. Yeah, all right, folks, here is the Mad Doctor again. But yeah, as we're seeing the Mad Doctor, that perspective, and the duck plus Pluto divided by the saw. All right, let's go into what the next couple weeks of the program are going to be then. Yeah, a little short this week, but I think that's going to be different for the next few. Actually, yeah, every other show for a while is going to be much longer. All right, so next week we are going to be playing, like first on your recommendation, Star Fox for the Super Nintendo. We played the Nintendo 64 game last year also on your recommendation, which was a great time. My experience with the Super Nintendo version is not as storied as it is on N64. And talking about hard games, I guess that's the theme right now. It's games that are really hard. That game is really hard. We're going across all 3 paths. I do have a backup sort of, because I'm running on the Switch Online case. I'll take a little look at Switch Online sorta when we start playing that. But yeah, we're going to go through all 3 paths. I have to practice like a madman this week, and I will definitely do that because I want to show that some skill, and hopefully it'll turn out better than, or as good as this, as far as like how we got through the game without having to get the game overs until, the last half hour of this, which was game overs or showing off band concert unsuccessfully. Yeah, and then the week after that, Nocturne's coming back to the program. We were asking, or chat was asking, like what Nocturne had to offer, when is she coming back, and when we're going back to Mega Man Legends. 2 weeks we're going back to Mega Man Legends. So we'll be doing that case, and then at that point I think it'll be more of a consistent case where we'll be able to continue that, because I think, based on where we ended for part 1, I believe that we'll be able to finish that in April, I think. So it'll be either in April or in March. It'll be either 3 or 4 parts, but same case as before, we'll do like 4 or 5 hours for the next part, and then we'll come back to it in a month until we finish it. And then into March, I still have to confirm this with Protorova, but based on how my scheduling is going to go, I think it's going to have to go down this way specifically, so he's going to have to deal with it with all due respect, but he's been adjustable this way, and yeah, I appreciate that, because we're going to go back to Ocarina of Time for March 5th for Part 3. We're doing well as far as where we are, and we'll keep going on to the next part of the game. The week after that, I'm celebrating the 25th anniversary of Blast Corps from Rare for the Nintendo 64. We're going to start that. I think that's going to be another case where I'm going to have to go over multiple months, always 2 months at least, to finish that completely. I'll get a sense, but yeah, we'll start that in March on the 12th. The 19th is going to be, I think, Part 3 of Mega Man Legends with Nocturne. And Dolly Finn, go back to you. You're going to be joining me at the end of March to start our next RPG, which is going to be Sailor Moon Another Story for the Super Famicom. I have my translated reproduction cartridge copy of it, so it'll be all in English, and we'll be able to go into all our memories with Sailor Moon, another cartoon take. So we have cartoon elements, or in that case, anime, going with that game as well. And then, since I mentioned this before, I know this is set in stone. The April Fool's Day episode on April 2nd is going to be Batman Forever for Super Nintendo. I was talking about how the Super Nintendo version of this game has loading in between levels. So is that one. We're going to go through Batman Forever on Super Nintendo, talk about memories with that game and other aspects of it, because I got my elements to it, and I'll try not to completely, take off on James Rolfe, the Angry Video Game Nerd, whose take on that game was pretty much what anybody who's ever played this has ever said. But I'll have my own sense, or my own 2 cents, and listen to all of yours as well. All right. So take another drink of water, and we see the Lonesome Ghost knock the logo over there to show Traveler's Tales, because yeah, that was the logo of them. It was not that well, fine, that logo's changed a lot over the years from that, the traveling creature guy, and then just the 2 T's. But yeah, so it's TT Games now, but yeah, Traveler's Tales, there you go. this is an early take on them. But yeah, with that, I think that will close us for the show tonight. But thank you so much for watching Super Old Game Saturday. Thank you for everything you've been adding to this show and every other show, and making it, as I mentioned, this kind of communal hangout at the end of a week, where whatever you have going on in your life, as far as, stress or, unease, whatever, coming in here, having a relaxing, nice time, having some interesting stuff, having some good laughs, or some interesting, sights like the Weasel there getting killed with marbles, and, Mickey getting his Tarzan boy aspect going on for all of you Baltimore fans out there. And, and as I said, anything you want to see, we'll get that happening too. So, yeah, it's not just my show, it's our show. We're going to be covering whatever we want to see, whatever you want to see. And, I'm looking forward to it. And as mentioned, the extra guest stars, which actually, at some point, we're going to have more as we go along. As I said, actually, next month, except for Blast Core, every episode is going to be a guest star, a different person, as far as on the show with me. So, look forward to that, and also look forward to Star Fox for Super Nintendo next week. So, yeah, as well, Mickey does the swinging away. Again, I'll thank you so much for watching the show tonight. Thank you for everything you do to make this show what it is. And, okay. All right, I did not know this, which is, I guess if you go through the demo enough, they give you the credits again without audio. So, okay, in that case, it's good I just left it here just to get a sense of, all right, fine. You want to see the credits without being in the game? Just sit here, and I guess also see the fact that they have it in different colors. So, all right, there you go. But again, thank you so much for watching the show. I had a great time doing this game, great time doing whatever you want to see. And next week, I'm looking forward to making that happen as far as the what you want to see case. All right, so with that, hope you have a great rest of your night, great weekend for the rest of it, and great week coming forward. And when this goes off, as far as the rest of the credits, yeah, okay, fine. They do have the same way as far as the backwards words that way, but yeah, there you go. So again, thank you so much for watching the show. And I'll see you next week for Star Fox for the Super Nintendo. I got some practice to do, but yeah, I will make that go, and I'm looking forward to doing that game. So, again, thank you so much for watching. Have a great night. Take care. Keep being awesome. And I'll see you next week at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, same as always. Have a great night.